What just happened to my chat? Is my chat okay? Okay. What's up, everybody? Okay. Enough freaking dilly-dallying. Isn't that right, pup? That was my puppy. That was me smacking my puppy's belly. What are we doing today, you may ask? Today, a video was made from none other than Destiny Stephen Benelli, the 31st. Where he streamed with Mike Enoch. And when they had a rousing debate. I have not watched the entire debate. That's what we're gonna do. And I want to talk about it and play a little bit of video games, okay? But we're gonna do it in a real nice way, all right? Because I'm a nice guy. TMC and also R. Oh, you know what? That's what I want to change that to. Where's my thing? I have the TM, but I don't have the C and R. I want to make sure I want to make sure everybody knows I'm serious about this. I want to make sure everybody knows I'm serious, okay? Oh, welcome back. Welcome back, buddy. Where'd you run off to? There we go. Make sure everybody knows I'm serious. We're not playing any games, okay? Talking to your brother about why he's still a fetus. Is he ever gonna grow up? He's got to get out of there sometime. I am going to be playing Gungeon. You're right. Can you hear it in the background? Just a little bit. Can you hear some Gungeon? I hope you can. Boy, Gungeon is going. Thank you, Gungeon. All right. Yep, we're going to be watching a little bit of a Destiny video. It's gonna be a quality meme, all right? It's gonna be a good time. We're gonna stream a Gungeon. So heck out of here, female. You think you can play your lo-fi hip hop radio beats in my ear? Not today. Indeed, quality. We got the most qualityest of memes today. Cringer keck. We're gonna be cringing and kecking all at the same time. It's gonna be really weird. So I hope you're ready. As you can see, there's Destiny Benelli right above my head, right over here. Hello, Destiny. Hope you're doing well today. You ready? All right. We're already 46 minutes into this video. That's why I'm gonna start. It's mostly because this is a really long video. You prepared yourself? Hopefully. It's mostly because it's a really long video. Oh, give me 1 second. You prepared yourself for the last 12 years. I know you can't hear me. I was on the phone. You want poopies? Uh-oh, stinkies. All right. Let's listen a little bit to what's going on here. 1080p. We don't need this to be 1080p. I'm going to drop this down to 460 because you won't see the difference. It's like 2 pixels by 2 pixels. Should be able to like hear this pretty clearly.
These problems don't exist. It's not going to make people get out of their houses more. It's not going to make people stop logging, 90 hours a week in World of Warcraft. It's not going to make people pick up hobbies or, go out and participate in their community more or have more regional like voting for their, interests and everything. Like these problems don't get solved by just only having white people together. I don't know why we pretend it would. And these are all real problems that should be addressed.
If you didn't know, he's talking to Mike Enoch, which is famed. He's talking to Mike Enoch, famed racist. And they're talking about, are white people oppressed? 1080p, 4K? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Okay, I mean, again, the issue is like, does it need to be? Do I need to have a majority of people that necessarily believe like exactly what I believe in order to advocate for it? I would argue, obviously not. Part of the reason I do what I do is because I'm seeing something, as you said, a lot of times people don't see the big picture in things. Now you can say it's a grand conspiracy or whatever, but the question is like, I'm seeing a bigger picture that involves things that I think will be bad consequences down the road. People are being myopic. They're not looking at it. Perhaps they're answering certain kinds of questions because they're afraid. And
yes,
the fact if
everyone's super afraid.
Like, most white people don't agree with you. I would say, okay,
they're so scared.
I can live with that. My views are still mine, and I'm going to advocate for them. So the question really then is, if I'm saying I have this view of how things work, and you're saying that's just a grand conspiracy, you need to look into the nuts and bolts of this or that. Sure, I'll agree.
He's caught up on like the grand conspiracy thing because Enoch has just been talking about the Jews this entire debate.
Are we looking to get more specific with the view to like just deconstructing any idea? And I've never said, white people living all together will solve all problems. One of my major complaints actually about society today is that the conversations that are had about problems are really geared to specifically excluding any kind of idea that white people are even a group that has an interest. And if that's the case, then we can't even really talk about it. Like,
can you give me an example of that? What do you mean by that?
an example of it is literally what goes on social media, where people try to advocate for these things.
I was
Like,
sent
advocate for all these
mean
things. Like, what is
tweets
an
on
issue
the
that we advocate for
interwebs.
that white people just can't be allowed to like be a part of the conversation. Like, what are we talking about?
Who
Like, is it like
posted
the,
my
the
nudes on
International Dreadlock
Twitter.com?
Society, or where are all these institutions that white people are being forced out of, not being able to shoot hoops like in the downtown like all black neighborhood? I'm curious, what are these?
Well, okay, would you deny that there is an issue with people that advocate for a pro-white position being censored on the internet?
That there is a problem with people that
Well, I mean, you might not think it's a problem. Would you deny it's happening?
Hold on, these are really vague words. What do you mean when you say pro-white position?
Thank you, Destiny.
Like people that
I
are
mean,
white
come on, like,
nationalists,
that's-
or
Don't
white
let 'em get
no,
away
no,
with
wait,
it.
wait, hold on, wait. Don't say "come on" to me, okay?
Don't let 'em get
Because
away
when
with
you say
it.
pro-white position, that could go to anything that things that I talk about, or I might say like, hey, like here are a couple ways that like, man, being white really sucks in this case, all the way to where somebody's like, we need to kill every single non-white in the U.S. So
There's
you
like
can't
an
just say,
MRA
like, pro-white
talking
positions.
about
That
like
could mean a ton of different things.
pro-men
You gotta be a little bit more
positions
specific.
when they mean
Like,
that
are
women
Nazis
should be
or white
barefoot,
supremacists or
pumping
white
out babies
nationalists
in the
being
kitchen.
excluded from some online platforms? Yeah, for sure. Of course that happens. Are there some people caught in the crossfire that aren't that extreme, that shouldn't be banned from those platforms being banned? Yeah, that definitely happens as well, for sure, of course.
What would be like a valid pro-white position that you? I mean, in what way? See, because again, you could always say pro-white. What does that mean? What does these things mean? What if I said I was pro-black or pro-Mexican? Now you could say like, okay, what is
Nebraska.
That mean? You can always
No, I could
down-
answer what that means. Yeah, I could answer what that means. So when you
Okay.
talk about pro-black or pro-Mexican, usually what you're talking about is there are certain institutions in the United States that seem to be geared against these people. So when we talk about black people, we could talk about an institution like the criminal justice system appears to be geared against these people. Or we could say like a pro-men position against like parts of the criminal justice system in relation to like children, like family courts that seem to be geared against like men. Usually when you talk about like
Nippy, ooh.
advocacy for a position, you have a group of people that is disadvantaged in some way, and that's why they need an advocacy group.
Yeah.
You don't usually advocate for the majority opinion. That's why I don't understand why
But
we
it's
would
not
need.
my. But you just said my opinion is not the majority.
Well,
Can
sure,
we
but you're
advocate
the
for
one claiming you're
American-
advocating for all white people. We don't need to
American,
advocate for white people. Now there might
Well,
be
that's
classes,
that's your opinion. I disagree.
but on what basis? On the basis that white people, that white supremacists.
Because basically you are saying that there is basically no need to even do it. I mean that alone,
I mean, true.
and the fact that anybody that does gets excluded. So for example, like we talk about immigration. If I say I want to limit immigration because I want to retain a white majority in the United States, is this going to be a position that is going to be conducive to my future prospects in business or even just having an online profile? Because
Maybe.
I'll tell you right now, it's not. Is that a valid position? Can a white
It's
person
not a valid
simply
position.
say, I want to limit immigration because I want to keep the majority white? And if they can't, then you have to acknowledge that
Can we? I just want to limit immigration to stop brown people from being here. I just really don't like brown people. Okay, and I mean, I just want to be the majority. Okay, nothing wrong with this. Okay, Mike Enoch. You want to hear how much screaming there is? Don't worry, there's enough debates online for you to satisfy that need.
from polite discussion.
Sure. So the problem that I'm running into and understanding your argument is you're saying that white people
Free
as a
ass.
majority do need advocacy, but then when I ask you
Yes,
for an example,
absolutely
you're
white
giving
people
me
need
you're giving me an extreme minority opinion that you're trying to advocate for. That minority opinion is not held.
How
by
much
the majority
damage
of
does
white
this
people.
do?
Anybody says they want to keep
Not
some
much.
area majority white, generally racist positions aren't usually looked upon very favorably in a post-civil rights era in the United States. So it's
You know
not
when
very
they're probably.
that-
Oh
again,
no
why
no
is
no!
that?
Oh
Is that
no!
because
What a
that's
horrible
Or
dodge.
is that because people
Here's
are
what I
feeling
should use this.
certain social pressures to not advocate for themselves to the point where they are afraid that if they even say that they will get in a lot of trouble. And
Wait,
now
but
actually, again,
people won't
Volk-
advocate.
Have you seen
wait,
now?
pe-
Again,
wait,
I know I don't want to go
you're saying
over reliance
people
on
won't.
data.
You're saying people won't advocate for themselves, but we just agreed most white people aren't trying to say that they don't want to be a minority, so they're not. They don't need to advocate for themselves.
He's trying to
I
make
don't
himself
actually
like the
agree with
pope
that
of white
because, again,
people.
I don't know anything about that, so I'll do your thing. I just don't know. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. I haven't looked at it or whatever.
He thinks they're
But
just
no,
too dumb
my
to know
point
what
is
they want.
They're actually look.
And while I
Are you-
mean,
are
a
you
lot of people
familiar-
don't
again,
have
this is why I
the
wanted to
tools
have
to make the
some
most
opinion.
informed decision all the
Hold on.
time.
Now, 39%, according to the Reuters Ipsos poll in 2017, 39% of whites said they do feel like they're under attack.
Okay.
Or 39% of Americans said white people are under attack. It's entirely possible some of those people weren't white. But the point is, that seems to me to be a substantial number of people. But then there's another further question of, does a view simply have to be accepted by a majority in order for it to be valid in some way or not? My opinion is we are going to be in trouble as
Valid,
a group
no.
of people, given the immigration going the way it is, given a whole
We can have a
host of
harmful
other issues,
opinion.
and the fact that advocacy
And
for
it be
whites,
or be
period,
not,
is
it can
really
and cannot
off the
be
table.
accepted by
And then
the
there's
majority
theories
and still be
floating
very
around,
harmful.
like white privilege, things that demonize whites. I literally saw today
A mean
some
tweet on Twitter.
black woman who is some kind of medical doctor supposedly that proposes a theory that is published in the Lancet, respected medical publication, where she's basically saying, "Oh, those deaths of despair that white people are
Give me 1
are,
second.
are experiencing."
All right, I'll be right back. I gotta do something. Here, I'm gonna put on some music in the background. Step right over and watch me put it down. All right then. There we go. All right, I'm sorry. Let me where to put this? Where am I gonna put this? Slap this down here. All right. I have returned. I have returned. Thankfully. All right, let's get back to what we were doing.
Experiencing, whether they're about opiate abuse, liver disease from drinking too much, suicide due to hopelessness, increased divorce rates, lower birth rates, these things that white people are experiencing that are increasing, and they're increasing for whites at a higher rate than others. She says the only reason that's happening is because those people think of themselves as white, and if they stop thinking of themselves as white, then these problems would go away. Now you want to talk about a problem?
Now, I highly doubt that this woman said that the only reason that these things are happening is because the white people think of themselves as white. I think what really happened is that she said the idea of whiteness plays in to the problems that they're having and or exacerbates it, which is just something I can completely get behind. The idea of whiteness, especially in the United States, has been used against the white working class for a very long time to make their lives worse. That's not crazy. That doesn't sound crazy to me at all. But he wants to overblow it to make it sound like white people, everyone's saying white people bad. White people. Mailbox. Do I want to buy any of this? I can't buy any of this. Sadness exudes from my bones. Okay, that's it. Actually, can I buy anything from him?
An issue that is like it's like you're gonna deconstruct who somebody is and say it's your fault.
Where's my
thinking you are what you are, and that's why these particular social problems that have increased affecting your community are we gonna just write them off and say it's your fault for not thinking right? This is accepted in medical journals.
Well, like, wait,
This is the
first,
kind of stuff
when
I'm
you
talking
say,
about.
first of all, when you say that it's accepted in medical journals, the fact
Well,
that something
it
is published.
it's the Lancet. I mean, is white privilege a theory that is generally promoted in academia across colleges? Is this?
Now he's jumping around from every problem in for white people is specifically just because of white privilege to is white privilege even talked about? I hope Destiny catches him on this.
Is there things like white privilege and theories like this that are promoted in academia and across colleges? Are students subjected to this kind of education?
Subjected.
Even if that was
I'm
true.
not. This is a basic, easy question to answer. Are students subjected to this kind of education?
Of a single study in Lancet? No.
No. I'm talking about white privilege theory.
Yeah, the idea that white privilege exists, yeah, of course. You if you don't have an understanding of that, you probably don't have a very accurate view of the world, of course.
Well, okay, but that's your view. I mean,
No,
I think
that's like the- that's a
I
pretty-
consider white privilege to be a conspiracy theory.
Do you
Now,
believe
talked
like in
all this
wait, do you believe like in
you've-
generational wealth?
Oh,
Do you
this
think
is
that's
not
a real
good.
You
thing?
have talked.
Wait. I haven't talked anything. You've talked 95% of this conversation.
You
Now-
talked all this stuff about not having
Oh
a
my God.
worldview that's not based in anything.
Table tech
based
shotgun.
off of
I hate
something.
my life.
White privilege is not simply
Bro, I'm
about
100% getting the mind flayer this
intergenerational
time, and it makes me pissed.
wealth. Well, explain white privilege. Let's hear what is
White
Sure,
privilege
so the
is a
idea of white
conspiracy
privilege is
theory.
that if you're white in the United States, it seems like you have a set of unearned advantages that don't necessarily play for other people as a result of their
Okay,
skin.
well, describe what an earned advantage is.
Sure, so an earned advantage might be that in any neighborhood at any point in time as a white man, I don't feel uncomfortable asking a cop a question about something. Or when somebody looks at me, they're not going to assume instantly that I'm a dangerous individual or that I'm stupid. Or if I go to apply for a job, somebody won't refuse my job application just on the basis of my last
Conspiracy.
name or first name, like being
It's a
Jamal,
conspiracy
or my
theory.
last name being, Washington.
Yes.
That like these
Just
are
like,
forms of like unearned privilege that I have as
The
white. I don't have to
Teletubbies did
worry about
9/11.
things like this in society ever. I've never in my life had to worry about being attacked because I'm white, except I guess on Twitter when people
Really?
tweet about like the Mayo side.
I can
Yeah.
think of
Yep.
certain places you can go.
Well, like you can think about that, but even in the polling data that you cited, the highest thing, which had to do with jobs, only 19% of people responded favorably. So even in your own polling data,
So you
81%
think
of
it's okay that 19% of people like?
I never
like,
said that it was okay, but I'm saying that the majority of Americans agree with me that being white isn't generally something you've been attacked for, as opposed to being black
Facts.
or Hispanic or Asian, which are other things that people get attacked for all the
Oh
time.
no.
Like what are if we were to sit here and
why-
think
why
about
is the
wait,
premise
if we were
that,
to sit
like-
here if we were to sit here and brainstorm all the negative things we can say about white people, like school shooter, I guess, like what are all these
That's not
negative?
even
Yeah,
true.
there were 4
Okay,
plans,
sure.
and they were
Now,
all.
if we were to go Hispanic people or black people,
It's just all the
women, or
Teletubbies.
Asian people, like we could think of a million horrible negative things.
Oh,
to say
no.
about, like these types of people. You can
Oh
do
no
this.
no.
This
Well, is
idea
that
that
white people's fault? I mean, that seems to be.
is that white people's
What is this
fault? Wait, then my
room? What am I
argument is
looking
correct.
at?
Well, I mean,
Well, I
arguably,
mean,
yeah, it is white
maybe
people's
there's a
fault
reason
because
for that.
the reason is that it was an institutional structure that existed by law in the United States up until about 1964, and arguably even further, depending on which that furthered white interests, as you would be so happy to admit.
Why shouldn't a group of people further their interests?
I don't think that a group of people should further their interests at the expense of another group of people when you're treating those
See,
people
this is-
unfairly, because I think that it leads to a whole
See,
bunch
this
of
is what he's always talking about. He's like, why can't we further our interests? Everybody else furthers their interests. There's nothing wrong with They never came back. Poe was a god, indeed. There's nothing wrong with wanting to advocate or want something to go that something in particular to fall in your favor to benefit you and or your interests. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem only comes about when those things benefit you at the cost of everybody else, right?
society. I think it fucks a whole bunch of things up. We're more
But he-
globalized, connected.
Mike Enoch probably, I don't know too much about him, but I think he probably is smart enough to understand that. But he wants to maintain this position because it's way easier for him to be like, oh, I just want to advocate for my right. You know, I mean, I think we all deserve to have a place where we all are, can oppress other people. But he doesn't want to say that verbatim because, then he sounds bad.
Society as much as we hate it, and it probably works a little bit better if we can integrate other people from other communities into our community to have the best and coolest fucking country we can. Because
Integration and multiculturalism to have that. Can't we appreciate other cultures as they are and they have like trade and commerce and friendship with them?
no,
While also retaining our own.
not necessarily. No,
Okay,
I don't
well,
know.
What
like
about people
I don't
that
know.
want to do that though? Is that something that's valid?
Then they can
Can
go
people want
move to
do that?
Norway or something, or they can go
Okay,
move
but
to Montana.
Norway is having big problems like this too. Norway is having a big problem with immigration and with cultural clashes involving people that are not compatible.
I'm sure that if you
racially
try
and culturally with theirs. So
and
why-
guess what?
why-
Back in America,
why
in the
is that-
listen, in the American founding colonies, when all the different types of white people came over, there was a ton of problems with people clashing as well.
Okay.
So much so that people scrambled together to write documents of propaganda to convince all the colonies to align under a single federal government, even when it was just white people. Like these
Yes,
are people always
100%.
have trouble getting along. It's
Articles
always
of
going to be a thing.
Articles of
Just because they're all white.
Confederation.
Why then
Does
create
no
more
one remember
problems
this?
by, like forced multicultural integration. Why
We're not
create-
creating problems. They're problems that are going to exist. If
Like,
we were to take
well,
away all the
okay.
Hispanic and all the African people, here's something that's shocking to a lot of Americans. If you go to Europe, they don't just have white people there. They actually, like, if you
Yeah,
Oh,
talk to
thank-
I understand.
Yeah,
Thank
sure,
the
yeah, of
Lord.
course.
Thank the Lord. Destiny brought this up. 100%. You go to Europe and you talk to a Scottish person and an English person and tell them that they're the exact same type of person just because they have the same skin color. They'll look at you like you have 3 heads. It's incredible. There's so much diversity within within people from the European nations. It's incredible. Like the EU, their guidebook just to keep all of those countries under one banner is like a full terabyte worth of guides and rules and asterisks on asterisks on asterisks just to keep everybody happy and voting, and it's just so slow and cumbersome just to make sure that all of these different ethnic groups can all just align to do the simplest of things. Just the simplest of things are so incredibly hard for these the EU, and obviously it didn't work with the UK, since they voted to get out, and they've been struggling to get out or stay in, and that's been a struggle in amongst themselves. And there's a struggle in sort of that sort of struggle with the Remainers and the Leavers. It's just incredible. And there's also, you know, different things pulling the EU in different sorts of directions. They all want to, you know, try and move in one sort of direction. It's incredible. It's like a big hydra, but every single head wants to have control of the body, and they're all just pulling themselves in different directions. It's incredible. But he wants to think of all these people as just the same human being. It's just so dumb.
It's not just white people there. They can actually see, oh, that dude's German, that dude's Russian, right? If we got rid of all the Hispanics and blacks, what's next? Do we get rid of all the people with brown hair? Do we get rid of all the
Yes.
people with green eyes? Do we
No,
like we
of
could
course-
run down this
obviously
thing?
not. Why
Sure.
would that even be a logical? Why would you?
Why would that be like? Oh, here we go.
That's about as logical as saying that
you
somebody.
say-
Well, that's about as logical as saying somebody like me, who's half Cuban, or somebody like Fuentes, whose last name is Fuentes, counts as white in any white supremacy or white majority society. All I'm
Well-
saying is that we're using these races as a proxy for other real problems.
All
that
these
we
lines are
both agree
completely
exist. We're
arbitrary.
pretending that by getting rid of, you know, like some subset of, or limiting the inflow of a certain type.
Oh
of
my
people,
gosh.
that all of these problems with societal fragmentation are just going to disappear, which
I'm
is
not
just
saying
not
they're all
true.
just going
Oof.
to disappear. I'm saying it's one input to all of these
Oh, no.
problems, and there's
Oh no no
reason why
no
we
no
shouldn't do
no.
it. So, like, why?
These rooms are crazy. I've been getting the most crazy rooms.
Want to have?
I've never seen these rooms
immigration
before.
From people from another group, and inherently be like that. That's something that just like they should do inherently. And
Hello?
It's wrong for them not
I
to
mean, like,
want it.
I don't want to
Because
be.
if you think that that's bad, then you actually have to disagree with the majority of mankind across the whole world in every other country where they actually prefer their own kind. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. And you could say, sure, in Europe they don't consider themselves white. Yeah, that's not a big surprise to me that Europeans generally see themselves as German or French or English or Polish or Czechoslovakian or whatever. First, I understand that. That's fine.
Czechoslovakia.
But in
Ah,
America,
yes, the
we
country
don't
that hasn't
have
existed
that.
in 100
In America,
years.
what we are is white because we've all been mixed together. There's nothing wrong with that, but also we're not the same as blacks. We're not the same as Mexicans, and there's no reason why we can't have a majority here and we can't work to preserve and defend that majority and expand it.
I don't know,
right
like,
now,
if we-
white people specifically are having problems that are accrued just to them, like suicides of despair, like opiate addiction. Why can't we understand that this could potentially be my
Drug war.
explanation for this is that this is because white people generally
Doesn't think about it.
don't see much of a future here, and this is actually not true for blacks
What
and
you
Mexicans
ju-
who
like,
do
the-
see it. And this is not fundamentally like why is
Like,
it that
I want to buy one of these.
What
that
you
we
just
built has to
said.
be
the
turned
wh-
over to them?
I haven't read that one lady's
The op.
paper in Lancet, but literally what you just said sounds like it agrees with her thesis. You're saying, what if white people are ODing on drugs because they don't see much of a future for white people in the U.S.? Well,
No
it
problem,
sounds like
bud.
that lady was saying if people stopped identifying as white, they'd stop killing
Yeah,
themselves.
but that's
Do you
what
realize
that's-
that you
that-
just laid out an
why
entire
then is the
argument
burden
for
He's so dumb. Oh no no no! Not only did he get caught in the trap, he set the trap, and then he sprung it on himself. I want to hear this again.
said sounds like it agrees.
that the whole world in every other country where they actually prefer their own kind. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. And you could say, sure, in Europe they don't consider themselves white. Yeah, that's not a big surprise to me that Europeans generally see themselves as German or French or English or Polish or Czechoslovakian or whatever. First, I understand that. That's fine. But in America, we don't have that. In America, what we are is white because we've all been mixed together. There's nothing wrong with that, but also we're not the same as
no,
blacks.
I
we're not
almost
the
got
same
hit.
as Mexicans, and there's no reason why we can't have a majority here and we can't work to preserve and defend that majority and expand it.
I don't know,
right
like,
now,
if we-
white people specifically are having problems that are accrued just to them,
Here we go.
like suicides of despair, like opiate
Bang.
addiction. Why can't we understand that this could potentially be my explanation for this is that this is because white people generally don't see much of a future
Ooh.
here, and this is actually not true for
Yeah, 100%. See, these sorts of people, right? They're the same people who think. I said it before. I'm gonna say it again. They're the same sorts of people who think that their bloodline gives them an HP buff or like a dexterity buff, like in Smash Bros or something. He's like, there's just one type of white, and it's just like it's just this average person, and they have one cultural, some sort of like big cultural understanding that comes with them that's just innate, and they're the only species of human who can ever achieve this sort of greatness in all of Western society, when they completely disregard all of the completely disparate ideas that people have about where to take themselves and what's best for the country, right? You look at someone from you look at someone who was born in Los Angeles County or like Orange County in California, and you take somebody who's born in like Birmingham, Alabama, around the same time, and they'll have completely different views of the world and think in completely different ways that it's almost completely incompatible. But I think that's what's cool about the country is we have all of these sorts of ideas and all these sorts of people with all these sorts of looks on the world, and we can come together and hopefully push forward for a better way for all of us, where we can all feel included under one banner, which is, you know, being American. And, you know, that can be the same for in Europe, where we have you take like a German person and a Polish person, and these are completely different human beings on the way they lived and the way they think of the world. You take someone from Missouri, and you take someone from the UK. These people have completely different views on the world. Gun ownership, that's huge. They don't believe that police should have guns over there. They don't believe that your average person should have a gun over there. That's something very strong. That's a very big belief that your average, you know, white person has here in the U.S. They don't believe that. You know, freedom of speech. They believe in general freedom of speech, but not in the same way that we do. It's completely different. They'd feel so alien in a country filled with people that they think that they share some sort of like deep ancestral root with. No, no, we're all blank slates, and our environment plays a massive role into how we are as people, and our race does not determine who we are. Absolutely not.
For blacks,
What
and
you
Mexicans who do see it. And this is not fundamentally like why is
Like,
it that the country that
what you
we
just
built has to
said.
be-
I got like three.
I haven't read that one.
I got like
lady's,
3 casings from that
paper
fight.
in Lancet, but literally what you just said sounds like it agrees with her thesis. You're saying, what if white people are ODing on drugs because they don't see much of a future for white people in the U.S.? Well, it sounds like that lady was saying if people stopped identifying as white, they'd stop killing themselves.
Yeah, but that's,
Do you
what if
realize
that's-
that you just
that-
laid out an
why
entire
then is the
argument
burden
for
on
her
them? Why
paper?
is
He
the
doesn't
burden on them,
understand.
though?
Why?
Why
Because
can't they just be who they want to be?
well, if it's causing them to all kill themselves on drugs, it sounds like it's not a very good identity to have.
Yeah, honestly.
It wasn't before, though, right? You would argue that perhaps this nation was more strongly identified with whiteness.
It's possible,
earlier.
but a lot
So
of
it
things have
wasn't-
changed.
It wasn't doing it
A
before.
lot of things
So
have
if
changed
you
over
re-
time.
yeah,
Wait,
you
why
know what,
would we?
you know what American Indians do? They
He's-
sit on
he's
reservations
so
and they
mad.
drink fucking shampoo.
He's really
Why?
mad.
Because their culture's been destroyed. I don't want to be them.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me, sir. Hey, good sir. Please, I will have to ask you to cease and desist. Sit on their reservations and drink shampoo. Oh no. Oh no.
You would argue that perhaps this nation was more strongly identified with whiteness.
It's possible,
earlier.
but a lot
So
of
it
things have
wasn't-
changed.
It wasn't doing it
A
before.
lot.
I'd argue that the reason that it would, because I see an argument here. I see an argument line here, and I want to shut it down here. The people can compare this to things like, I don't know, like a transgender identity, and that causes a lot of people harm when they identify as that. But the thing is that a trans identity is something you don't really ask for. A white identity is something you also don't really ask for, but it's something that you can change. You can change, and you can be seen as like an American, or you can be you can go back through your ancestry and be like, oh, I'm actually, you know, Dutch, or I'm Polish, or I'm German, as well. You don't have to be seen as this like massive conglomerate of people with pale skin that you have to try to appease and try to form yourself into. You can view yourself as your own person, and the struggles that come from that identity are internal and not external. The problems that come from like a transgender identity are completely external, and this has been proven over and over again through studies due to the distresses in what people who have like transgender identities feel. Almost all of their problems come from the way they're treated in society. White people in this country are the vast majority of people, and in the vast majority of the people, they have almost all power when it comes to how the country is run, how the economy is run, the politics, almost complete power, right? The only people who are dragging themselves down. I'm starting over myself. My brain's working faster than my mouth. The only people who are dragging them down is themselves, when it comes to these sorts of problems that they face.
A lot of things have changed over time. Wait, why would we?
You know what American Indians do? They sit on reservations and they drink fucking shampoo. Why? Because their culture has been destroyed. I don't want to be them.
Oh no.
Even if we assume that that's going to happen in the future, which we have no reason to assume it,
I have a reason.
He's really scared.
People with these attitudes that want to deconstruct any kind of defense.
He's really scared. He's really mad. He's molding.
Your whole argument assumes that minorities are going to be trashed in the future, and all of this is resting on the idea that minorities right now are being championed over the majority. Like your entire ideology is inherently contradictory. Well, if you really care about that, then why don't you push for more minority protections right now, so that when we become the minority, we'll be able to enjoy all those protections, minorities do in America today.
Push for staying the majority. Why can't I do that?
Well, because it sounds like right now, according to you, the majority sucks because the minorities have all the rights in this country. So why don't we just become a minority and go take all their shit? Like, oh, cool. Now I get to have white lives matter, and nobody can bother.
Heck yeah, brother, white lives matter.
Might actually be a strategy.
It's coming together.
Maybe the more reasonable route would be to acknowledge that there are a lot of problems that exist
No,
today.
you don't live
for
anymore.
A wide variety of reasons. I think the internet is the cause of a lot of them, and
I
address.
agree with you.
Yeah, I think the collapsing of communities, and this has been happening all back
Totally
through the
agree with that.
1900s. Yeah, the loss of unions, as much as I hate to say it, the loss of
Absolutely the loss of
churches. Yeah, that as much as I hate to say it, because I'm an atheist and I hate unions, but churches and unions. and
Wait,
these
why do you hate unions because you're an atheist?
No, I meant for the religion thing. I hate unions because I'm a big capitalist. I don't hate unions, but like these types of community organizations were.
I was about to say, I hope you don't hate unions. I don't think Destiny hates unions.
Some people like where they were from in certain cities, like they would tell you the parish. They wouldn't even tell you like the neighborhood sometimes. Yeah,
I think don't have any of that. I completely
exactly.
agree.
But I think that focusing on rebuilding these types of institutions, one, it's possible because I don't have to get into some tangled history of talking about if I'm a white supremacist or white nationalist or whatever. And two, I think it would actually serve to address some of these problems rather than just pretending. Well, if we were homogenous, I think we'd be a lot happier because we looked at Japan. But if we look at some,
oh yeah, look at Japan. Look at South Korea.
That could be the road that you're setting us down. They have all the technology. Their people are insanely fucking healthy. I think they have the longest lifespans in the world.
Yes,
and
indeed.
They are fucking miserable. They
kill
have
themselves
times a million. These people live in their house until they're fucking 40, and these people are unironically marrying their fucking waifu pillows. Like this is the future in some ways.
It's all they got.
You want to point us down? Like it doesn't seem like the homogeneity is helping.
Listen,
them.
if I can marry my cat girl, sounds like a good day to me.
Communities or the loss of religion or institutions in our country.
I see these things as intertwined with each other.
Well, clearly they're not because it hasn't always. It doesn't work that way in other countries all the time.
They also have heated toilet seats.
That's true. They have bidets.
Yeah.
If I had that, I wouldn't leave the house.
Sure. I just like it feels like there are problems that we can talk about, but we get derailed on this. Like, is it white? Do we need enough white people? Whatever. When it's like, I feel like there are so many more important things we can.
I don't know what
talk
to
about.
use.
Like,
I don't
know
really have a
people,
good floor
that are
clear.
fucked. And they're not even fucked because they're like poor. They just like they have no drive. They have no ambition to go out and do anything. They spend all their time playing games. They don't talk to people. They don't even know how to
spend
talk to
time
people.
playing
and
games.
I don't think that living.
I
in
gotta
an
go to the
all-white
gym today.
community is gonna help
Thank you,
some of these
Destiny, for
super
reminding me
depressed
to go
people.
to the gym today.
I mean, I would see. Here's where I'm a little bit iffy because I would argue against that on some level. I agree it wouldn't like solve everything, but I also think that generally speaking, you know, whites do tend to prefer to socialize amongst each other, just as other races prefer to socialize amongst each other. I also feel like
At first, yeah.
people don't feel
Here's
like
here's one thing, right? They say this, right? It's just because we're all drawn to familiarity, and we think that because this person shares my skin tone, there's some tie back that I can see with them. But it's just mostly when people with similar like phenotypic qualities, when they see each other, because that's the first thing we can go on. We don't hear them speak. We don't know their backstory, right? No one's bio is tatted on their forehead, so we don't really know what this person's about. The first thing we can see is their skin color. And we can be like, okay, well, he probably we can, and then we can assume these things. You know, he probably has this. He probably most likely came from this family, and that's maybe similar to me. So let me be over here. And that can happen. And what these people like to do is what they like to take this one study. I forgot who made it, but this one study that said that went through multiculturalism and how people react to it. And it said at first, what happens is people feel very reclusive. A lot of social ties can break down, and people kind of retreat into their own. and feel a little hostile towards the outer group. But in time, as people are forced to stay together and forced to interact and forced to be together, this sorts of rebuilds, and it's almost always stronger than how it was when the place was homogenous. So
they are actually in some sort of way under assault from other groups, or as if another group is a threat to them, then they actually are more likely to even be friends with people
Nice.
and share cultures and enjoyment of each other across those boundaries. And I think like the idea of living,
Oh,
like,
no.
we have to have everyone living on top of each other rather than able to live amongst themselves and express themselves as
Nice
their
one.
own
Dweeb.
type of person. You know, in a way, like you say you appreciate diversity, but your view of it actually destroys it, because it's sort of like, and then we do have all these other problems of alienation and technology, and I would say on some level surveillance capitalism it comes into play here. The idea that like literally you can log onto your screen, and because like many of these companies know and they have algorithms to figure out what your desires are and understand what you want, they can keep you glued to your screen in a way that is potentially even addictive, like mentally, like
And
these
destructive
are
to
all
your
problems.
personality. Yeah.
These are
Indeed.
problems. I agree totally. I would love to talk about that too. But I also see other problems where there's a lot of anti-whiteness, and there's an inability of white people to push back on certain memes, like white privilege, like the fact that, you know, why should
Still
we
not
be able
moved
to
on white
enjoy
privilege.
being a majority and crafting a culture for ourselves? That is something that seems to be
It was a waste of ammo.
privilege that groups have all around the world, and particularly whites have.
What a child's view of the world.
Go to Norway,
But
go to Sweden, go to
but
they're
but
having exactly
everybody
the same
have it.
kinds
Why
of
can't
problems there,
I?
you know, and I think that if people, you know, if you were to go to one of those countries, say you're going to Sweden like 1990, you'd
Wait,
see
what?
the happiest country in the world. Under what obligation are they to then open the door? Why should they?
Well, I
In
don't wanna
challenge
comment
mode?
Sweden.
Okay.
I don't think
No,
I don't
I'm just
necessarily
saying,
think any
in
country.
general.
I don't think any country has an obligation to. But I mean, like,
Okay.
there's a lot of benefits that we gain by integrating
Well,
other cultures
okay,
into
well,
our own.
that's-
Like, no offense, but have you ever had the food in Sweden? Holy shit!
It sucks.
Fucking horrible. Have you ever had the food?
Bro,
in, I'm gonna pick
Europeans'
one
food,
corner, but in the
besides
United
German
Kingdom,
and Italian,
steak
kinda
for
is
breakfast,
garbage.
Food in
It's
the
pretty
United
fucking
Kingdom
good.
sucks.
Sure, but like,
but I mean,
but
this
if
is
you compare
literally
like the
how good's
food that we
food,
have,
though. We should get-
so I live in LA,
Rand
right?
on? How good is the food though?
Well, I mean, if I go to like a really good Indian place, a really good Chinese place, a really good Mexican place, like I can find a lot of sick fucking food in the United States. Some of America's most important cultural contributions in the world, say musically, have come from African Americans. Things like jazz, things like hip hop, like these are like the dominant forms of culture we've exported to the entire world. And even things that we get out of Japan, like would Cowboy Bebop exist without African American jazz music? I don't actually know. You know, like there's a ton of
But that
advantages.
didn't require blacks living in Japan.
No, but it probably did for them to live in America.
Yeah,
and create
but-
that music, right?
Yeah, but American culture plays so heavily in Japan. Like after World War II, Japanese culture is like Japanese culture mixed with like a funky new way of viewing things mixed with just like American whatever American culture is doing. It's like a fun house mirror of American culture. That's Japanese culture. There's nothing wrong with that, and that's super cool. So obviously, the lives of Black Americans do play some role in media that comes out of Japan, especially when they're depicted, good or bad.
I mean, look, I don't actually have a big problem with blacks.
Well, sure,
Like,
but I'm
they've
saying
been
that,
here
like, when
forever,
you-
that's not the
sure,
issue,
when you
really.
talk
They're
about,
gonna
like-
be here, they're here,
when-
whatever. Like white. Well, in fact, I would actually argue that prior to what you think is this great progression of the civil rights movement, blacks and whites got along better in this country. They were oppressed, blah, blah. But again, like.
You know, segregation and
about.
lynching
Again,
and
I also
everything,
don't like
but
to center
come
my
on,
argument
come
with blacks.
on.
That's done in
Tip
the-
your hat to the
But
local
I don't
Negro.
even
I like
care
it.
necessarily. I don't even care necessarily like what's good for blacks. Okay, I'm not a black person, right? Technically, like what's
Oh,
good
you're
for
not a black
blacks is
person. Okay,
yeah,
so
exactly.
we-
Glad we got that out of the way, right? However,
He's
there
also
was a
not the
ton of
president.
ways
I don't know what white
as
means.
somebody, sure. Well, as somebody that's enjoyed, you know, a lot of different types of music, like a lot of that came.
I used to listen to rap music all the time, man. Like,
It's not just rap music. Like jazz has been influential
listen to
across the
jazz
ton.
too.
Do you ever listen to prog metal? Do you listen to any of those bands coming to Sweden? Like, do you listen to like? Have you ever listened to like the
you
Beatles?
listen to-
Or have
do
you ever
like,
listened to
what is
like
it, Animals as Leaders? You like that?
psychedelic
That
rock?
guy's
Yeah,
black.
sure. Like a lot of these things, like you know, trace their roots back to like early rock
But
and
what,
roll.
what,
which
what do
came-
you think I'm saying? Like,
Well, what
you
you're
guys saying,
saying,
like,
well,
genocide blacks or something
no,
like
I'm
that?
not saying
I
genocide
don't
blacks.
argue for that.
You're not arguing for that, but you're trying to make this assumption that if we were to hardcore segregate all these cultures off into their own little corners, that the same type of cultural intermingling would still happen. It absolutely wouldn't. Like no
Well,
way.
they're the same type, but maybe a better type would happen.
Maybe
It's
a bit.
possible. That's a counterfactual that neither of us could support, but that doesn't seem to be the
Why not
case.
try it though? Because we know what's happening now. Let's try something different.
I mean,
What
how much
happened? What's
culture
happening
do you
now
feel
is
like
kind
we
of
get
chill.
from like some, like from, I don't know. We could name like random African or South American countries that neither of us know anything about. It seems like they probably don't. I'm pretty sure that having people like in your actual country to actually contribute to the culture, like being there, probably makes a big difference rather
Yes.
than having it happen overseas. Like that type of like
Yes.
cultural like inflow and outflow isn't going to happen the same
Anime
if you
is
don't have
pretty
those
big
actually.
in the U.S. It's one of the biggest.
You know, we
cultural
have like
influences
American
there is.
anime
Japanese
studios.
people in the US.
Sure, but a lot of that is because we have like a lot of like back and forth in terms of like our like entertainment and media, right? Like we import a lot.
I
of
wasn't
like,
sure if I was gonna
yeah,
make it, so I
literally
just
directly.
decided to dodge. This is the safest thing
Now,
possible.
let me
Blank.
interject and
The safest
ask
thing
you,
possible.
Mike, and I mean, it's open to Destiny as well. I was gonna get it in like 20 minutes ago, but I just let you guys go. Mike,
You die
what
now.
are your thoughts on democracy as a form of governance?
Oh no,
as
no!
it
Here we
applies
go.
to the United States, but I mean, you can make it in general too if you would.
Sure. I mean, I actually, I in general am pro democracy, and
here we
I
go.
think that there's a certain people on the right that have views that I don't entirely agree with. Some like what I would call actually reactionaries. Destiny might even agree, where they have an idea of
Bro, you're a reactionary too.
the rich or the powerful know better, and they have a view that should be imposed over like the slobbering masses that don't know what the hell they're talking about. I don't go for that. In fact, I would argue, and particularly with what I'm most familiar with, like the history of the United States, I would say the positions that would have been the majority positions are things that I would generally have supported going back for a fairly long time. Certain issues, depending, but these are
That's good.
supported actually by elites. So I would actually say what we have as a system in the United States is actually set up to thwart the interests of the people. The fact that we have this three branches of government, and then one branch supersedes the other in this way or that. And in fact, the executive branch is really the weakest, and the judicial, I would argue, is the strongest, because ultimately they get the final say, and that's very anti-democratic because there's multiple layers of decision making.
Well, the legislative could always change the judicial, and the judicial is always at the whims of the laws brought down by the legislative, and the legislative can be checked by the executive. So I mean, it's not as bad as he's trying to say it is, but obviously there are problems. Even when it comes to the Supreme Court. I mean, if we feel like the Supreme Court is like the strongest thing ever, but if Congress tomorrow makes a new amendment, the Supreme Court is going to change their rulings. That's just how it works.
Between the people and who those final decision-making people, judges, are. So I say I'm generally for democracy, and in instances when we've had direct democracy, I can think of certain decisions in California, like the vote on Prop 8, like the vote on whether or not to give illegal immigrants driver's license, etc. The people came out and voted for the position that I would support, and then that was thwarted through the use of elite shenanigans using courts and things like
Elite
that. So,
shenanigans.
just like I would say,
Like
the Immigration
courts.
Act of 1965. This is not something
Okay.
people given a
Oh,
direct
no.
democratic vote would have voted for. They would have said no, and they didn't get input on this. And I would say, generally speaking, a lot of the things that Destiny favors socially, in terms of
But-
certainly his cultural views, certainly his racial and diversity views. These are things people would not choose and have to be imposed on people undemocratically through the use
We
of
did
some
choose.
kind of shenanigans.
Well, but
And
let me
I
ask
think-
you this. Let me ask you this.
I'm not sure
Assuming
why I
the
felt so
demographic,
scared and I had to
shit
blank there, but I feel like
continues
I
as it's projected,
felt like I needed to.
And there's a permanent.
I just didn't
you know,
feel
local
comfortable at all.
majority, due to whatever, if you want to attribute it to demographics or whatever, if the trend continues, and this democracy just busts down everything you want and completely dominates you, would you still be in favor of democracy? Like, would you still
Obviously
respect-
not, because I would say the interests, my group interests, my interest and my group interests, and the interests of the people that have decided to be part of my group, and what we want to argue for and fight for politically, these
There you go.
supersede any one particular system. So I would say, if in fact it comes to be a point where we just get downvoted on everything because there's just not enough of us, then I don't care. Then this system is illegitimate. I don't have to be a part
Okay.
of it.
Wait, okay.
It's not for
So
me.
Are you?
Okay, let me
Wait. I think he's gonna slap him down on this, but I want to hear it too. I'm generally for democracy when it works for me, but when democracy is not working for me, then it's bad. Okay, buddy. Here, I think Destiny's gonna handle it
Okay,
better.
So first of all, so you're not in favor at all of democracy. You can't say like
I
I'm
knew
in
it.
favor of democracy as long as everybody's voting how I want them to vote.
Well, sure.
That's
I
not
can.
in favor.
Why
No, that's because
like
that's not
basically-
democracy.
Why not?
Literally
Why
not.
not?
That's not
I like democracy if I win.
Okay,
Who doesn't?
so you're not.
Oh,
in favor of democracy.
no,
That's
he's
fine. I
actually
don't
a
necessarily-
child.
I'm not like allegiant to like democracy either. Now I like it because I think it works for.
Also, the question is like.
Wait.
on what
Okay,
scale?
hold on. Okay,
Wait,
you had
let
your
him go,
15
let him-
minutes. Yeah. Okay.
let him
So
go,
you're not in
let him
favor of
go.
democracy. You know, you only like it when you get your way. That's fine. Now I'm not necessarily any different. I think democracy sucks for a lot of reasons too, because people are dumb as fuck. Unlike you though, I think the problem with democracy is oftentimes people's interests are actually represented in the government, which I think is a big fucking problem because I think people are fucking stupid. Which you even agree to some extent because you would probably say most white people are stupid for voting themselves out of power or whatever. We made a comment earlier, it was just kind of wrong, where you say like the judicial branch gets the final say. That's a really weird way to look at law. You know, like does the judicial
It's
branch
really,
get the
really
final
weird.
say? I mean, it gets the final say in whether or not something is constitutional, except Congress has the power to change the Constitution, and the judicial branch gets its nominees from the presidential branch. So it's really weird to say the judicial branch overrules the other.
Yeah, saying that is like saying a referee is all powerful in a in like a soccer game when all of the players vote in the people who make the rules for that particular soccer game, and the referees are like handpicked by the coaches. Like this is I don't think in any way that you can say that these sorts of people have all of the power in this situation.
When the president
They're given
voted
power
by
by
literally
the people that
nominates
they exert
Supreme
power
Court
over,
justices,
kind of.
And then when Congress can literally say, by the way, Supreme Court, here's a new amendment. So that's a really weird thing to say. The judicial branch gets the final say, and that's broken. Also, I don't want to get into Hart-Celler too much. I mean, we can go there, but like the idea that like
Oh, no.
Hart-Celler didn't represent the will of the people, this has never been demonstrated ever. And
Both
also,
these rooms are
Hart-Celler
gonna
was
lead to
literally
the same
first
place.
time we even imposed immigration caps on people coming from south of the border. So to say that like that was the reason why all these Mexicans came in and shit is very strange when that was the first time we even actually like imposed strict caps on people coming from south of the border anyway. Yeah, that's those three things.
All right. Well, I would just say that the Supreme Court is the final decision-making body of the country. I mean, would you disagree with that? And as you said, it's the
course I
final
No.
it's the final decision-making body in terms of the Constitution. But then,
It's
I
not.
mean,
No.
they get all kinds of weird, like the idea that like abortion is a constitutional right. I mean, come on, let's be honest now.
Wait,
we
but we
can
can
say,
change
like-
that using the legislative branch. So they're not the final
Right.
say.
Yeah, but again, the legislative branch is the look. Sure.
Look,
I guess if we wanna,
Okay,
I mean, this is
buddy.
Not something I'm particularly invested in like going down the road of, but I would just say the judicial branch gets the final.
you're losing the argument when you have to fall back into sure. I mean I'm not super invested in this. Okay.
say on a lot of issues, and they can twist. And
The
turn
judicial
Constitution,
branch
and
gets
particularly-
they get the final say on
particularly
legal
when there's
issues
a
because it's our
political
highest
divide.
court, of course.
Yeah,
but
yes.
the legislative branch, that's their job. The legislative branch gets the final say on legislation, and the presidential branch is a literal check on the judicial branch. A lot of people wanted a more conservative court. That's why Trump won. Now we have a more conservative court. Like it's literally not them getting a final say. Like
Kill him. Sure.
All right. let me-
Hey, the boy conceded.
the list here. Now, Mike, I guess. Well, I have another question for you, but let me give Destiny a question. I guess since I just asked. Mike
What the heck? I got stuck on the
would you say
table.
that
I'm mad.
capitalism is the best economic system, Destiny? If so, why? If not, what would you replace it with? If you could, what changes, if any, do you think should be made to our financial system?
I think capitalism is the best system that we have for economics, but I think that we have to pay attention to more than just economics when we look at like how we allocate resources in society. So like there are some things that capitalism does really well, like allocating capital to projects, but there are some things that capitalism doesn't do well. If allocating capital more efficiently to different projects leaves whole communities of people fucking destitute, obviously that's a huge fucking problem. So like I'm a big proponent of capitalism because I think it
Mike
works better
Enoch
than,
would
say,
say what
central planning, like a
what
social welfare
communities,
might offer,
and then he decide
or
whether they're a problem or
any
not.
weird anarcho-communist or anarcho-libertarian systems. Like I'm not in favor of that shit because I don't see any of that working. But I think it's important to keep in mind at the end of the day that just because something is like an
Melt
economic
him.
advantage, that doesn't necessarily translate into an advantage for society.
He's on.
Just
He's
watching
frozen and on
GDP
fire.
Go up if 95% of those gains go to a certain elite in society. Probably
To the
is a good thing.
1%.
And that like watching the destruction wholesale of manufacturing across communities in the United States, having these communities be fucking destroyed just so somebody in California can buy a car for 20% cheaper, probably isn't a good thing for the health of the country. So while I agree that capitalism is really good at producing positive economic outcomes, it's the responsibility of government to take those economic outcomes and channel them in more positive ways so that we're helping and uplifting the entire country and not just the few segments that can benefit from a more globalized world.
Go ahead, Mike. You can follow up on that too if you want.
Yeah, I actually agree with most of that. I mean, in principle, almost the entirety of it. Now, I'm sure Destiny and I would disagree on the kinds of things we would like the government to
Hey, you, die.
channel its energy of controlling capitalism into. I'd say my major
This is great.
beef with capitalism is possibly a little bit different than Destiny. So something that can, and I'll give an example as what my problem is. That maybe
I thought that was a
something
mimic for a
people
second.
Don't think about is that capitalism, not just in terms of it allocates wealth possibly unevenly, or it creates bad social outcomes that like jobs and businesses will leave certain areas if a certain other area is cheaper labor there, so they move. And I would definitely say it's absolutely the responsibility of the government to prevent that sort of thing. Like, no, guess what, buddy, you can't leave, and if prices go up, like we'll just have to suck it up. Then maybe we cut immigration to raise wages. That's an idea. That's how it always works. But I would say this. I don't like the cultural power that capitalists have. I don't like the fact that,
Oh
for
no,
example,
no. Oh no.
Silicon Valley.
Here he goes.
is
Here he
like-
goes.
I would argue
He was able to
generally
wrap it all the way
speaking,
back.
The cultural values of the big corporate giant heads of Silicon Valley, we can even name them, like Larry Page, Sergey Brin, Tim Cook, Mark Zuckerberg. These people, I would say,
Which one does more
their
damage?
Cultural values. Sheryl Sandberg. The cultural values of people do not line up with the majority of the country, and yet they have the ability through their ownership of capital to impose things. And I'm not just talking about because they have their products that they've created that
Stinger.
you can choose to use or not use or whatever. What I'm saying is, like, in Virginia, for a very long time in Virginia, and really for the white people in Virginia, certainly, gun rights are very important, like their right to carry and bear arms. And in fact, the governor of Virginia is now talking about with the legislature, limiting those rights because they need to do that to attract
Oh
investment.
no.
So I don't like the fact that these people, that simply because they sold something
Who's
and
the
made a lot of
commando?
money, that they get to now have like dictate culture in any way. And I would say that, hey, if the state of Virginia needs investment, then we should have a government body that can direct that rather
This
than
also
just
be-
like, oh, we now have to like change the culture and our norms and our way of life in order to attract investment here. Like, I don't like that.
Doesn't
at all.
really
And I
matter
think
which
that
one I'm gonna use.
the fact that generally speaking, wealthy elites have cultural views that are actually just out there compared to. And
I was gonna
even
get hit
the
there.
Racial thing, even blacks and a lot of Mexicans agree with me.
The
Out
blacks.
there cultural views that are just.
Wait,
Oh
like,
my
I'm
gosh.
curious, what do you mean by out there culture reviews? What kind of out
Oh,
there?
very pro-homosexual, pro-trans, this kind of like very.
Oh
weird
no.
stuff that most people are
Anything but the
comfortable with,
trans.
and really don't want anything to do with. And they,
Wait,
they
so if we
feel
were
like
to
they
poll,
already
like,
use
how-
their capital
Wait,
power.
if we were to poll what
promote
most Americans feel about like homosexuality, like you understand that the groups that would align with you hardest on that wouldn't be white people; it would be Hispanics and blacks.
Okay.
Okay.
So it
Go
seems
for
like if like cultural problems like degeneracy is something that you want to push back against a lot, it seems like importing more Hispanic or black people would
Oh, no.
actually help you more than hurt you there.
I mean, again, I don't know anything about that. I would have to.
I don't know anything about
Okay.
this.
I mean, we can bring up any. I
No,
hate
I'm
to, I
sure-
hate to
I'm-
make
I'm
I hate to
messing
make a
with you, but
Count Dankula
no,
argument, but
I'm
if you bring
saying-
up any
I'm also
YouTube video
saying-
of like an LGBT march, it's
I'm
not
also
full of
yeah,
Hispanic and
yes,
black people; it's full of
definitely.
white
Again,
kids. Like I mean,
you'd also be seeing white people of a particular class and probably coming from particular parts of the country.
Here we go.
I don't know that. I mean, again, I would actually dispute the fact that.
Stop
that's
him.
what most
He must be
white people-
stopped.
and I
Let's
don't
go,
care,
boys.
Because I think the white people that align with that kind of culture, I don't like them very much.
Mhm.
I don't really want to have anything to do with
Speaking-
them. And
I
think
agree.
the white
Yeah,
people-
because
people-
white people aren't like a monolith of people. Sure, I agree.
No, they're
Yeah.
not. Of course not. But why can't? But these are arguments that we should be having without having to.
Now,
first,
Let me ask you this. Mike. Now, speaking of white people, you mentioned this, the fellow whites.
White
earlier.
people.
I actually did have this question, and I figured that now.
Oh
would
wait,
be
can
the
I
time
respond real
to-
quick to his answer there before you ask the next
Sure,
one?
if you'd like, but
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
do.
ask
I
it
love
right
it.
after that.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
right
Go
after
ahead.
that. That's fine. In terms of not liking the cultural power that capitalists have, I 100% agree with that. However, it's up to every individual community to decide, what the trade-off is that they want when it comes to letting capitalists exert power over their culture. So, for instance, you mentioned Virginia. The
Do
governor
they have
said,
the ability to do that?
yeah, absolutely.
I would dispute that.
Okay, well, we just had a real-life example of this happen in New York when AOC was clapping because they managed to turn away a massive investment that Amazon would have made in one of their cities in setting up a huge headquarters. Now, even though there was a lot of potential economic prosperity there for the people that a capitalist like me might jerk off, the people in that city were so adamantly against it that they were actually able to turn that away. And you do see that happen across cities sometimes, where they say, hey, you know what? We're not going to cook out and go to the bottom of the barrel with, tax breaks for you guys. I've seen this happen in my own city in Omaha. It's happened in St. Louis. It's happened in Kansas City, where some of these cities will say, hey, we're not going to absolutely slash our tax rates to bring you in. And then people say, we might
was
need a
kinda
little
thinking
bit more
about getting
economic
this.
prosperity here, but we're going to reject that, and we're going to turn you away, and you can go to some other place that's going to crawl down on their knees for you or whatever. It does
I would
happen
say
around the
generally
United States.
speaking, that those types of decisions happen in places like New York City or cities where you get actually more, and these are and these are actually sort of generally speaking more affluent people that have more ability to express themselves. Where
No, affluent people would be massively in
more working
favor of
class
an
communities
Amazon.
don't have this ability.
If we were talking only affluent people in New York, they would be 100% in favor of any Amazon facility moving in. We know that.
I lived in New York for 20 years, and I can tell you for sure, the people that gave a fuck about the idea of an Amazon coming in to the city were all rich fucks.
Why? It's not going to affect them one way or another. It's not like it's going to make their life demonstrably worse. It's going to hurt
Because
people that
it's
fucking ride the
aesthetic.
subway and
It's
shit.
an
Like,
aesthetic thing. It's like the
Aesthetics.
people. I'm telling you. First of all, the question of will it make life better or not? I mean, you could argue that one way or the other. I'm not arguing that. What I'm telling you is the people that were opposing that kind of stuff generally.
I like the
were,
demon head.
like,
Let's use
you
the
do
demon
not
head for a little
see,
bit.
Like poor blacks and Hispanics at these town or these
we
community
saw a
meetings.
Where is he?
ton of
There he
blacks
is.
and Hispanics rising up. Of course, that was one of the whole arguments about some of AOC's areas up there, is that it's a demographic shift to Hispanic
was voted
people.
in by the freaking white people of Queens.
I thought
like-
the whole white nationalist argument was the idea that AOC only won her district because of the massive demographic
No, that's
shift
not
of
true.
Hispanics
AOC
over
won
there.
because of hipsters. You know how many?
AOC
people voted
won?
for AOC in the primary?
Because of hipsters.
Exactly.
16,000.
Well, no.
Okay. Out of how many?
That's not very many people given her district.
How many
And
people
most
live in
of
her
them
district?
Were white hipsters. The people that worked for her were white hipsters.
It's all falling apart.
She won.
I can't
because
hit
of white
anything.
hipsters. Now, as soon as you win as the primary.
Oh no,
Democrat
no,
in that
it's all
district,
falling
you
apart.
won,
Okay.
right? But she did not win. And if you looked at her, look, you could say I'm just lying or whatever, but I lived in New York when I literally lived in New York City 20 years of my life. I know the culture there very, very well, probably more than anywhere else on earth. I know
Getting
New York
hit
City
every
culture.
floor, every
And
room is
that was
not going to help me.
Absolutely shit-lib white hipsters that were the.
So you're telling me the
bulwark of
majority of people in that area wanted it there, but it was the elitists that came out and moved against.
I don't know whether the majority of people wanted it or not. What I'm saying is the elitists are the ones that prevented it from coming. I think the majority of people had no fucking idea what was going on one way or the other.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't disagree.
How do you use
that it
this?
Feels like we've lost a lot of our regional political influence, and that when we move to a more federal level of looking at things, companies like Google or Facebook do wield a disproportionate amount of power. It seems like one of the things that we had in America that made us relatively exceptional compared to other parts of the world was we had very localized.
Oh
governments.
gosh, getting hit every room is
In a
not
lot of
going to help.
cities, the parish was very important. Unions and union meetings were really important, and even your
There.
neighborhood, your block, was really fucking important. There were a lot of people that would get together, and you would read about these people.
This
that were,
way.
at the town hall meeting, everybody was there. People were talking. People were everybody was very much bought into their local political scene. That seems to have been completely eroded and deleted right now in American
Do
life.
you think that ethnicity or race even is totally irrelevant to that?
Yeah, I don't think it's very relevant at all. I think that
I just disagree with that.
that's fine. I mean, we can say that if you want. But I mean, I can find areas that are culturally homogenous, like Japan, that have the exact same fucking problems that we do today. It's not unique to non-homogenous areas, and even areas of very homogenous white people can still feel very disconnected from society.
Yeah,
100%.
Of course they can.
Sure.
Again, I'm not saying this is going to solve all problems.
Sure.
I just think it will solve some problems. I think, and not even necessarily.
Oh, gosh.
I think this is something I see a very bad future for whites in this country.
This is
given
not good.
Immigration rates and given cultural, social attitudes and economic prospects, and this is already being reflected in health problems that are specifically affecting whites. And I've chosen to make my political advocacy about talking about those things, and
Should I
I'm not gonna
use
deny, I've
this?
suffered a lot for it.
Is this useful?
I've gotten. I don't even need to go. I'm not gonna give you a sob story.
I guess,
Doesn't
like,
matter.
yeah, I
Who
mean, like,
cares? But the point is,
I-
like, this is what I am about, and I don't think that the fact that maybe not all white people agree with me, that to me,
Oh,
who
here we go.
cares? So what? Like, this is my position. This is what I'm gonna advocate.
I guess, like, it's kind of funny that we're having this argument because, like, the black community has
Should not
the
be
same
using this.
argument a lot too. Like, do we blame white people for our problems, or do we try to like bring our own families up and help our own communities instead of waiting
why
for
not
white,
both?
right? And well, sure, but like, it seems
Blame
like
white people.
sometimes the messaging feels like so oriented towards
I didn't see that. Where's the arrow?
picking out like some demon to attack, rather than trying to give people like an idea of like, hey, maybe it would be a good
Oh
idea
my gosh.
to log off the computer and go outside and talk to your friends. Or
Maybe.
it would be a good idea to,
I'm supposed to be
literally
going bowling with my friends sometime.
that like there are things that we can find like to help people get out and be a part of their community and socialize
Hey,
more. Like, hey,
I totally
What'll
get
this
it.
do? What'll
In
this do?
fact, people have coalesced around my website,
sure,
and they built regional clubs and groups of fans that do this. They go hiking, they go rucking, they go camping, they go shooting.
sure. I
Yes,
think
and it's
we-
all
I think
white
we can
people.
do
For a lot
that.
of these guys,
Yeah.
a lot of these guys were total shut.
A lot of
And
guys don't have
there
friends.
has been. But I think we could do that without the racial aspect.
Well,
like
but
both
why
of
not?
us
Why,
here.
What's wrong with doing it based on
Because
race, though?
both
Like,
of us
it's making
here-
these guys' lives better.
Because
Like,
no,
if
that
you-
but
none of them are
anything,
violent,
giving
none of them are
sure,
hateful, none
giving
of them are hurting
anybody,
people.
giving anybody. a
Where's my
group to
thing?
belong
Where am
to
I?
could be
Oh, they have to hit the wall,
consistent,
right?
Makes people's lives better, of course, because they have a purpose and they're driven to do these things. But the problem is
Yeah, but
that
we're not ISIS.
Oh,
Okay?
whoops.
Like, we're
I'm
not
not
doing
saying
We're
you're
not
racist, I'm
ISIS.
saying just because
They-
you're giving people a purpose in life doesn't
He's getting
mean
real
everything you
scared.
do is good, right? There are things that you can improve. And I
Oh,
think
this
that
is great.
everybody in
But you can
probably
say about
Oh,
anything.
this
You
is
can
like
say about the
super
church,
useful.
You can say about unions. You can say about bowling clubs.
sure, but if we're
So what?
talking about like constructing,
Yeah,
something, why would we
bowling
make something
clubs,
starting off on, like, a good
unions,
foot rather
our
than, like,
race-
bringing, like,
our,
racial
our
exclusion,
race
like,
club.
right into the what?
That's by your standards. By my standards, this is a good foot.
Oh my gosh, I keep
I
ruining it.
guess if you just
I'm
want all
sorry.
white people, sure. But like I
And
guess
the people
like,
that join our groups do.
sure. Well, after listening to you enough, they might. I just think that I would be worried that people would think that just by appealing to
All right,
these,
let's,
these white demographics that you're gonna fix like any problem that exists.
The
with
memes were
white.
fun.
That's
Let's
just
actually
not
kill the
true.
boss.
Like you can get a lot of the messaging about like having a stronger presence in your community, about being more active.
wonder,
with
will this
your
do damage?
family and friends.
No,
You
these don't do
need
damage.
Nothing has to do anything.
It
with
will
white
clear
people,
those guys out, which is
in
like
order to
actually
sell
like
the
pretty
message.
good.
And you're
Say
also
that to,
excluding
like
you're
Latino
also,
people that organize along those bases. Do you say that's blacks? And again, you're gonna say, well, they've got
Yes.
historical oppression, they've got particular issues. Or I'm just saying, the idea
no,
that that is
actually,
a valid
I
thing,
say,
then
you
it's
know
a
what?
valid
I
thing,
say
we
on
can
my
do it.
stream all the fucking time. Fuck defining yourself based on your oppressive history. I don't think that's necessarily a good thing to do.
It's the
I
big
don't
cringe.
Think that all Latinos and blacks should make their entire lives about like oppression by white people.
Do
Now
you ever
sometimes,
debate them on this issue?
sure, you don't know anything about my history. Then that's okay.
No, I'm
I don't
asking,
expect a
I'm
lot to.
literally asking you
I
that
literally
question.
just
I'm
came off
literally-
like a 3-month bender on debating on whether or not white people could say the N-word, where I took the affirmative in that. So yes, I have debated about this a lot. Okay, this is definitely something that I do. But like,
Alright, I-
we-
That's true.
Sure,
N-word.
that was a
Yeah, no,
gotcha.
no.
Bernie
No, I
Sanders of
understand,
saying
I
the
understand,
N-word,
I'm not trying to
Destiny.
say you were. I don't expect
Benelli.
you to follow everything on me, just as I haven't followed
The
everything. What
57.
I'm saying is that like we can sell all of this positive messaging that people need to find purpose in life, people need to do things, and we don't have to include any racial aspect into it. Because as soon as you start
Hey.
making it racial, you're showing people like enemies where they don't necessarily exist, and worse,
I got hit.
you're cutting off people from meeting a lot of potentially really fucking cool people. I've met a lot of people that are super awesome, that are black, that are Mexican, that are Jewish, that I would have never met had I belonged to some group that told me the only way I can be a part of this group is if I exclude all non-white people.
Okay, I mean that's again. I'm not arguing about this. We're now just arguing about like, do you prefer to be a part of like a white community or not? And I can't.
Which gun should I
Don't
use?
expect every white
I guess I'll use the
person will
Vulcan
prefer that.
cannon. We're
I
gonna
think
be in
lot of
a
them will, and that's certainly what
close
I
proximity.
prefer and what the people that listen to me prefer.
nothing,
and I think the fact that that is what
the
we
spread
prefer
won't,
is what
won't be
we're
bad.
able to do. The fact that there is a system in this country that is set up to specifically outlaw that, or not outlaw, guys.
Blaster.
Depending, actually, depending.
There you
Certainly,
go.
Attempting to do something in terms of real estate or things like that, like creating communities that are sort of homogeneous in that way. That's outlawed. But in terms of like clubs and things like whatever, this is the culture and the communities that we have chosen, and we have decided to be like this. And sure, there's a lot of people that think it's not valid, a lot of white people that think it's not valid, but again, that's not really up to them. what we're gonna do.
Alright.
Well, I guess like one of the
Wait
cool
a
things,
second.
Oh, I just as a final thing. This is one of the
Go
cool
ahead,
things. If we ever get to the
go
the
ahead.
final, if we ever get to the what does it mean to be an American thing, I think one of the cool things about being Americans is that we can accept a lot of different types of people that have a lot of different types of ideas. If you want to exist as a minority group of white people that only make friends with other white people or whatever, yeah, you've got the right to do that, I guess. I think it's really stupid. I think a lot of those people are missing out on meeting a lot of potentially cool people. But if you really want to, you can do that. You've already got the power to do it. Apparently, it sounds like you've already made clubs, you've already made groups, you've got a podcast. Like, I guess that's your right to do it, and you already have the ability to do it.
All right, here we go. Would you? This is to Mike, by the way. Would you consider Jewish people to be white? If not, why are they not considered white when oftentimes they can pass for white? They even claim white. What? I guess what makes them excluded from that category, in your opinion?
Well, I would say that they exclude themselves and they exclude other. Like, let's say, I know it's going to piss a lot of people off, but let's go with the assumption that they're like white, like racially. Okay. I would just say that they're a group that has their own particular interests that is actually not
Here we
only
go,
not
boys.
aligned, but is in direct opposition to the interests, and not just of other whites, but of pretty much every other group.
Direct opposition of other
And
whites.
in fact, they see themselves that way, and so I feel like the burden of sort of the burden on this question isn't on me, but on them. Sort of like if
Oh,
you
what's
want
that?
to be white, yet you.
But I
act
mean, they're
in-
claiming it, right? Though I mean, like,
But
you
they
claim-
also don't claim it,
What is the
though.
criteria for claiming it, though? I guess.
I mean,
If they can't just say I'm white and you have to.
Jewish is such a weird thing because it's a religion, it's an ethnic group, it's a nationality now. It's just so many different things to so many different people. But having the last name like Schumacherberg, and having your great grandpa be like Jewish or something doesn't really make you Jewish in a real like tangible or meaningful sense.
Accepted. I mean, other white people just say I'm white and they look white. It's like, okay, they're white, right?
I
Like,
guess the issue, the reason I
Yeah.
would say they are not. I mean, white or not. I would say the reason I say they're not white. Is I don't think that. I think their interests are directly
Here you go.
opposed and aligned with each other, and in many ways opposed to mine. So, for example, I can't be a citizen of Israel, right?
Yes,
That
you can.
fundamentally makes me different than a Jew. Now, you could say, oh, there's some Muslim citizens, but those are all just like grandfathered in from the 1948 war.
I'm
They
pretty
have
sure you can become a
state that is
citizen of
specifically,
Israel.
Racially, ethnically exclusive. They have many institutions that are racially, ethnically exclusive, and in fact are racially, ethnically collective for their specific interests.
Wait, real quick.
Uh,
You can become a Jewish. You can become an Israeli citizen.
I can.
Yeah, you can do it through marrying somebody, or you could do it through serving like a military service or whatever.
Yes.
All right, sure. I mean,
I got it.
I-
Yeah,
Womp
just go
womp
ahead.
womp.
I
I
doubt
got
it.
it. Go ahead.
I
Go
seriously.
I doubt it.
But I don't want to fight for their freedom.
Yes,
That's
facts.
crazy.
They're
you don't have to become a
people.
Jewish citizen, I guess. Like, but
Oh, Jewish citizen now, so they have.
all
their
right,
own
an
state.
Israeli citizen is not a Jew.
yeah,
Fuck, you
but
caught
it's
me.
the
My
Jewish
Jewish
state,
roots are showing. Oh no.
No, no,
It's a
no,
Jewish state,
no,
right? I mean,
no.
and they actually, they have a nation. They have something called a nation-state law, where it's Israel is to be conceived of as a Jewish state.
Okay.
I mean,
I don't care.
I don't give a fuck what Israel does. I think they do a lot
Whoa,
of
whoa,
fucked
whoa,
up
whoa,
shit.
but,
What?
but don't you think they're cutting themselves off?
A lot of
Great
Republicans
opportunities to be
call
cool.
the U.S. like a Christian state,
Yeah,
so I don't really,
But,
I don't really,
but I'm
I don't
here
really
to
care.
Or for sure.
I don't. I'm not here to talk in representative of like Israel as a nation.
But I'm not asking you that. I'm not asking you to talk in representative of them. I'm saying, generally speaking,
Yeah.
you're not here to talk in representative of white people either. You had a lot of opinions on white organizing. I mean,
No,
what about Jews?
I've never said that. I'm here to talk as an American about America. I don't agree with a lot of what Israel does. I'm pretty anti-Israeli.
But you
when it
talked a
comes to
lot
that.
about Japan, and you don't necessarily agree with their policy.
Well, I was pointing to Japan as an example of another homogenous society that still faces
Well,
a lot
how
of the
about-
same
let's talk
problems we
about
face in
Israel
America today that you claimed we could get rid of by being more homogenous. So let's talk
Let's
about
talk
Israel. What about it?
What about their policies? Are there any policies they have that you disagree with?
Yeah, I think that the
It's-
quasi-apartheid shit that they do on the West Bank
Yeah.
with the Palestinians.
You
are
know,
racist.
being a genocidal
They're not
apartheid state
Jews,
kind of
and
sucks.
baiting people into attacking them. I think pretending that they're constantly under attack by organizations that obviously don't have the same funding or military support of them is fucked up as well. But obviously, it's I super
agree
critical
on
of a
all
lot of.
these.
I think that when in Netanyahu or whatever came out and tried to pretend that Iran was working on nukes with absolutely no evidence, I think it's fucked as well.
Yeah, that was
I
kind
don't
of
have
bad.
to be pro-Israel to not believe in a Jewish
Yeah.
conspiracy.
You don't have to
in the
be
United States.
pro-Israel to not believe
Okay,
that
I was
like
just
the
curious how
Jews
far
are.
your
controlling the world or something,
with
some
that.
dumb
Highly
stuff
critical of
like that.
Israel. They make up shit all the time to fucking murder Palestinians and shit. I've got some Palestinian friends. I've got Jewish
Absolutely
friends as well,
nothing
though.
wrong
But
with
I don't consider the
Jewish
Jews
people.
in the United States to be part of Israel. I think that requires like a grander conspiracy. I've got Jewish
Shouldn't be
friends that I
talking
visit
about
Well, do
people
they
due to like
advocate for it?
ethnic or
Do they give money to
um,
it? Do they lobby
religious
for
grounds.
it?
Well, not
I-
religious
you know,
Most of the
grounds,
Jews that I know
racial-
are non-practicing. They don't
racial
care
Okay, well,
about
the Jews
grounds.
that you know, I mean, are those a representative? But non-practicing, that's irrelevant. Actually, practicing Judaism is not actually really a big deal. Like a lot of non-practicing Jews still, on a nationalistic and a racial level,
Mhm.
identify with Israel. Majority, you know, depending on what data, again, data we're gonna
Sure.
talk about it, but most Jews strongly identify.
Yeah, that
with
wouldn't
Israel.
surprise me if a lot of them. Yeah, I'm sure they feel some connection. I mean, as a Jewish person, depending on how many places you've
So do you
been-
think they get something out of that? Out of the idea
No.
of having that here we have a state
Mhm.
and a place for us,
Yeah, I
even
think
though
you,
we're here.
yeah,
in
for
this
sure.
country?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm sure
Okay.
they do get something out of it. Yeah,
So why can't other people also have that?
we do. It's called America, but it's not based on
But,
your race.
but,
it never
but
has
it's
been.
not though.
But it
Of
is.
course-
I'm an American. You're an American. Yeah, we enjoy American privileges. This is our homeland. We don't have like if you were to follow your roots back. Now, I'm just guessing by looking at it. You're probably not an American Indian. I could be wrong on that, but I'm guessing.
True, they're
your roots
very
probably go
white.
back to
No, but
Europe
I'm
or
the kind
something.
of person that pretends he is.
Okay, sure.
'Kay.
But I mean, like at the end of the day, like in America,
Yeah,
we don't
most-
feel a strong allegiance to like our people in Germany or France or maybe on St. Patty's Day, some people come out as being more Irish. I don't know why. people
Yes,
do that shit
on St.
sometimes.
Patty's though,
But no, like, in
they
general, like,
finally
people
show their
kind of
true
like-
colors
I
as
have
being
more affinity
Irish.
for those countries than I do for Israel, or you know, any. Yeah, I'm certainly
Did
have a
you
greater
know?
connection to Europe than I would to other parts of the world.
Sure,
I'm
absolutely.
10 generations
European
Irish.
ancestry probably would, for sure.
Right.
But at
There
the
you
end
go.
of the day, our allegiance is to the United States, or it should be. It ought to be, I guess. If you
Yes.
That seems kind
I
of weird for it
mean,
not to be.
If it earned, I don't think the United States has really earned my. I mean, I'm not talking about being a traitor, but in
Mhm.
terms of like.
He's a
the idea
traitor.
that I had to blindly
Treason!
agree,
Hang
like, I
him.
completely disagree with this bullshit that we've been doing foreign policy wise.
Sure. Amen. And that's why we have a First Amendment right. You can burn the fuck out of the flag in the streets. So you fuck the
burning
military,
the flag
fuck the
doesn't
president.
stop it, though. I don't
Well,
care.
no,
about
of course
Okay.
not. If you want to stop it, it comes
What I
down
want
to
to do is I want
votes.
to point out
Saying
people that
things
are
about it
doing
doesn't stop on
getting
a
out of
freaking
power. They
YouTube
stop.
stream doesn't
And that's
stop it
when you
either.
start getting in trouble.
Well, the
I don't care about burning a flag. I'll fly a flag. In
So,
fact, I
like-
want to burn a different flag.
the sad opinion.
What is he talking
like,
about?
I used to be so much more conspiracy driven, but like as you spend more time looking at things, like the sad opinion is just like a lot of people are just pretty fucking dumb. Like when it comes to our meanderings in the Middle East, like a lot of it isn't this like big like conspiracy theory that's gotten people. Like a lot of people just like a lot of people in the U.S. Here's the thing: a lot of people don't even give a fuck about foreign policy. They really don't. It ranks
True.
really far down on those lists compared to like
Yes.
healthcare, the economy. immigration.
Generally speaking, it feels like it doesn't
Oh.
actually affect you.
Yeah, for the most
I haven't
part.
seen
lot
this
of
in a
people
while.
feel That way. Yeah.
Right.
So like, I don't think you need a grander.
Doesn't mean it's
conspira-
not. It doesn't mean it's true. It also doesn't mean that like it affects you if you know Americans get this bad name internationally because of how we act and like.
Do I even want
And I don't
this?
disagree with that, which is why, in the same vein that you just said, just because foreign policy doesn't affect you, okay, doesn't mean that it doesn't, right? Just
Not
because you
really.
think
It
it
doesn't
doesn't.
feel like it affects.
Yeah, sure, of course, 100%. Even though if we were to look at polls of what people's like most important opinions are, foreign policy is like I think it's like 7 or 8. It's really low depending on like. the
Hello?
question
Oh,
you
it's the
ask.
bird
Well, much the same way
who's
that I would say, listen,
10
you might say
miles
that in a
away.
poll, but that's real dumb. I would say the same thing earlier about people that poll being anti-immigration. They're like, we should curb our immigration. You know, if 35% of Americans say that, I would say you don't really care about immigration that much. You're probably using it as a proxy for other issues. Like when people say
Yes.
things like, "Oh, I'm pro-tariff," but then when the tariffs happen and the jobs come
When
back
the
to
tariffs
US,
hit.
but those jobs are just for a few engineers that run a manufacturing plant full of robots. The polling doesn't really show an accurate assessment of what Americans really want, just who they're trying to blame at any particular moment for a problem.
Very good. All right, I have a question for you, Mike. Another question for you, even though you had the last one, but I'll let Destiny weigh in on it as well. Mainstream Republicans have very publicly supported the lessening of restrictions on immigration. Other dissident right-wingers have publicly advocated for the election of Democrats in the short term in order to ensure that those Republicans are no longer in office. Would you agree with such a plan, and would you extend this plan to voting for the Democratic candidate against Donald Trump?
I would. I mean, again, the interesting thing is, like, I am very much against the Republican Party. I am very much opposed to it. In fact, I would actually ask Destiny why he's not a Republican, given his positions. It seems like he's right in line. I mean, he's pro-homosexual, pro-immigration. I don't see what's
It's probably going
different
to be
about
for the same reason that you are. Like, and I think a lot of people. This started with the Tea Party. I don't know.
Thank
if
you, very
Oh,
smart.
Actually, it was a kind of a joke, but
Oh,
should I
sure.
finish answering the question, Ralph?
Yeah, the Republican Party is the party of large corporations. I don't think either
Yes,
of us are going to
that-
disagree
that-
on that.
No,
of
nobody
course.
disagrees
Yeah,
with
of
that.
course.
And it's been that way for a long time, actually. So I would say, I would say that my views and the issues that I take don't.
Oh, I got the
like really
cancer
fit
rifle.
in
That's sick.
neatly to any particular party platform, and in fact, this is my beef with the American system generally: is the two parties are representative of a dialectic that I think is not the conversation we should be having. I think that the conversation that inevitably we have around the two-party system pigeonholes people in positions, and then
I think the two-party debate is really good. I think we do need to start talking about the parties a lot more. A parliamentary sort of system where we have many parties competing seems like a much better solution, and seems like could much better deal with the problems that we're seeing at home. But a lot of people don't fit into the two parties, and a lot of people feel left out. What is this room? And a lot of people feel left out from the two parties, which I do personally. If I could identify as an independent, I would, but I cannot. So what the heck? That spawned out of nowhere. I hate this thing. So that really sucks. And I don't know, having like a green party, or if there was like a Bernie crack party, that's tasty right there, especially as millennials are going to be the bigger block, the biggest voting block in a couple of years. Ooh, that sounds tasty. That sounds delicious, delicioso. And with Gen Z getting up there, a Bernie crack party sounds kind of sick to me. Whatever it'd be called, if it's called like Justice Democrats or whatever. Oh gosh, she just spawned in front of me. So sad. Or whatever, you know. That's a mimic. Yep. Sounds sick, but we don't have it, and I think that's really something we need. I remember I was talking to my my friend. I don't want to name any names, but I was talking to my friend, and he his idea on like parties and the problems with the country were really interesting. They're nothing that I agree with, and I feel like he was misdiagnosing the problem. He was seeing, it's like with a lot of people, right? They see the right problems, but I don't feel like, you know, obviously we all, what is that? What am I looking at? What is this from? These I'm seeing like all the stuff that I've never seen before. Oh my gosh, I hate everything about this. Let's kill that guy to get a couple bullets off the screen. You too. There you go. But he was saying, like, you know, we have all these problems and like hyper partisanship, and how people care about their party over their country, and instead of talking about the ideas, you see it a lot in like crap. Oh my gosh, they're just running everywhere. I can't get them all. I know what I'm gonna get here. So, oh my gosh, the fact that I made it out of there blows my mind. I should have gotten hit. I'm gonna go Smileys. There's Shades Revolver on this one, just to clear these guys out real quick. I'm gonna have the casket, aren't I? Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot it's you. Like hyper partisanship, and you see this a lot with boomers, or usually Gen Xers, who are like proud Democrat, proud Republican. Oh yeah, I love my Republican Party. Oh boy, I'd rather be anything than a Republican. I'm so happy to be a Democrat. And like, you know, all the terrible things that these parties do, and how they, you know, very often don't have any of our ideas in mind, yet people feel like some strong allegiance is because, you know, they're just born with it. And a lot of people aren't like super politically active, or, you know as much as they feel like they do. So they're I'm not doing this, at least not right now. So they feel a strong allegiance to this to the idea of a party, even when they shouldn't. And it should be about ideas and who has the right ideas and who has the right vision for the country. And it should be, you know, ever moving. You shouldn't be dedicated to a certain party. You can see this a lot more in places with more parliamentary systems like the UK Canada even, where you'll have Green Party voters and Labor Party. I think it's Labor Party or a party similar to a Labor Party or People's Party, something like that. I know, and I think in some places sometimes the Conservative Party is called like a people, but the more liberal parties, the more conservative parties, right? But there are also parties that have like specific issues in mind that they form specifically to fight against, and there's coalition building and things like that, and I think that's way more conducive to putting together a government that's there to fix the actual problems in the country and is much more fine-tuned to actually reflect the will of the people, but we don't have that. And he was talking about that, and he was talking about how the problem isn't the way we run our parties. The problem isn't the government style or the way people view of the parties, or I would say even like the economy. People live 70% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. I think it's pretty hard to stay politically active when you're just trying to put the food on the table and keep the water running. Being politically active sometimes is an extreme privilege. Well, at least for some people. The problem was the parties themselves and them just being a party. And we shouldn't have parties at all. And there should just be ideas, which in theory sounds cool, but in all actuality isn't something that we can really put together. And I had to talk, I wanted to talk to him about that and how I agree with his premise, but the party itself isn't the problem. I think I won him over on at least a little bit of that, which I'm happy about. But I didn't want to make him feel like he was dumb for thinking that, because I completely agree with his premise. I just don't agree with his solution, and I think I was able to move at least a couple people on that, which I think is for the better, because when we focus on the parties as entities and not the bigger structure, I think we're gonna be barking up the wrong tree. But let's get back to listening to this while I invite this boss.
Rooting for a party and they get attached to it in a way that's very dumb, and you get like Republic demon craps and Republicars.
Yeah, demon craps.
Rah for their team. They're not really even thinking
Hey,
about it.
hey.
But also then the positions that these parties take. So the Republicans seem to win, generally speaking, on economic type policies, and Democrats win on
social
policies, and I would actually like to invert that exactly. And there's no
the Democrats seem to win a lot more on like social policy, and the Republicans win a whole lot more on like economic policy, which I think really sucks. Because Republicans' economic policy is garbage, and the social policy is probably even worse in a lot of respects. But it's just because the Democrats and the Republicans agree a lot on a lot of economic policy and war. They love war. Oh boy, do they love war.
Social issues and even potentially immigration are less toxic than anybody else's. So Donald Trump, I just don't trust him. I was very much in favor of him in 2016. I think that him losing and him losing could have benefits, and winning could have certain benefits. We'll just have to play it as we go. But I wouldn't say.
Can he be poisoned and on fire at the same time? I don't think so. It seemed like as soon as I hit him with the fire, he stopped being poisoned.
For people that agree with my politics to knee-jerk support Republicans in every case, and in fact, I would argue Republicans are our worst enemies. Because when we look at the cultural transformation and the demographic transformation of America over the last
he's going to talk about people like Ben Shapiro.
Power 30 out of those 20 years, and look at where we are. And in fact, Republicans are always the one that passes
30 out of the 20 years.
Always.
Now, let me ask you a question, Destiny. Some of the bread tube types, or I guess, harder left types have criticized you during this primary campaign for the Democratic nomination. I guess kind of portrayed you as a corporatist almost. They're not
Carpetist?
sufficiently.
Wait, a what?
Well, I don't know if you corporatist. I don't know
Oh,
if you wanna use
corporatist.
that word. Yeah, corporate.
Yeah, Destiny, the carpet bagger.
Business class Democrat or something like that.
Sure.
Not sufficiently woke or not sufficiently left wing enough. I guess just what do you think about those critiques, and do they hold any water with you?
I don't get accused of being not woke enough. Generally, the attacks on me come from an economic point of view.
Thank
because
you.
I don't buy into socialism.
Yeah.
That typically is like in terms of like wokeness, I would consider myself to be more woke than a lot of the breadtooth types. A lot of the breadtooth types, for instance, like
Destiny's
Will
pretty good
Hutz,
on
intersectionality.
these sort of
It's all about class, which is a huge disagreement that I've had with a lot of
Destiny's pretty
people
good on
on the left,
socialist
as of
issues.
recently, where they'll say things like racism doesn't exist, that's just capitalism in disguise or shit like that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
That's been my big like kind of like divergence from more of the extreme left types recently.
Recently, sure.
Now here's another question for you. A common line of thought on the left is that America has no cultural identity of its own. Do you agree with this sentiment? And then, well, I guess I'll ask you that first. Do you agree with this?
I guess like, so I'm trying to do something different this year, which is build positive arguments. Which usually
Hey, who is
I'm
this?
trying to build more positive arguments.
It's
So,
you.
Usually when I say there is no American culture, I'm usually doing that as an
You
attack on
daft
somebody that feels
buffoon.
like some group of people doesn't represent, like what it is to be an American. And I feel like this is a question that I should ask people more, especially when I talk to people that are more in favor
Oh,
of like,
no,
certain
my rifle.
demographic compositions of the country.
What the heck?
Because like
Why is
I
this
see
purple now?
among
Did I get a?
different communities, lot of
I
characteristics
got
that
a.
like
I didn't even
American.
notice my
Like, for instance, if we think of like an American
my synergy.
father, a man
What's it
working
synergizing
really
with?
hard to care for his family no matter what. Like that's a Hispanic dude roofing, in 120-degree summers in the Midwest for me. Like I see that embodied.
Oh, it's
in,
these
like,
two.
He's
fucking
up on a roof
Pedro.
with a hot shit,
Yeah, that to me is like that's an
slapping each other with a hot mop.
that's an American fucking value, right? Like there's a Hispanic dude like up on a fucking roof, like working really hard, and that dude is no.
Mexicans on the
Yeah,
roof,
and that dude is like
slapping
a-
each other with a hot shit.
Sure, I don't know if that's a dog whistle or something, but like that's like an
Sure.
American value to me, right?
It's a
When I
dog,
think
don't
of like some of my if I think of like some of my like
He was
black
really
friends,
scared.
like,
Me
that I
too.
knew growing up,
Like, I'm
these
not sure if
parents
that's a
really
dog
help
whistle or
raise these
anything.
parents. And when I think about like parents that hold their children accountable for things, that do a good job at like raising whatever, like I think of like some of those.
Parents?
Yeah,
Sorry,
good
I
one.
just-
Nice. Yeah. That's very strange given your background with your parents, but we won't go into that. So, like, when I think of like some of the strictest families that I can think of, they're usually I don't know if I'd use the word ethnic families, but like
Yes.
brown Hispanic families, like my Cuban half, or like some of the black families I knew growing up.
Mhm.
And like these seem to be American values. When it comes to like celebrating holidays and traditions and shit, Asian people do this a ton. This seems to be like an American value to me. So yeah, I don't know. When you say like what are American values, like I have a collection of things that I would think like these are things that I would hope are like emblematic of Americans. So like working hard, being an individual but still community driven. Like taking care of your family and your like fellow citizen. Being accepting of like other types of people. And I think that different types of people all across America embody these beliefs. And I don't think it's
Aw.
restricted to like a particular skin color or the way a person looks.
Ugh. I didn't have a second to
Mike,
watch
if
that
you
one.
wanted to, follow up
Got
on
hit
that,
there.
the
Can
question
you
was
just
just asking-
reiterate the
But yeah, I totally agree with
yes,
Destiny here. All
I
of these
can
points are really good.
common line of
And
thought on the
I
left
think all
is
of these
that
things make us an
America has no
American.
cultural identity.
We have a lot of cultural identity, but our identity is like a mix of all identities. It's like saying English isn't a language. Even though we take a lot of liberties from other, languages, we're still a language, right? Well, speaking, this is a definite language. You can definitely tell the difference between what goes on in America and what goes on anywhere else. It's just like a massive conglomerate of things just mishmashed together to form this beautiful mosaic of what we call a country, and I think it's really good.
Today, American culture is, particularly mainstream culture, is alienating. It's stupid. It's like it doesn't it doesn't appeal to anyone. It's very degenerate, and it's not something
Just
that
so
anybody would
degenerate.
wanna be a part of. On top of that, the way a lot of
Why?
ways that
What
people
culture do you want to be
this
part of? Like South Korean
is
culture or something?
Also alienating and keeping them, away from communities and things. And I would love. to
See,
see
he's
that.
talking about all these things. I think these are more like
People can
problems
exist
with
in
like our just
communities and
economy.
share
Why
goals
people
and
feel so
values
alienated and
together. That's what I'd
um,
like to get back to. But America is just this giant.
nice one, Luz.
global
Look at him. What a
thing.
buffoon.
And,
Why people feel so alienated
just
from each
find it
other.
despicable.
Our
And I think, in
economic
fact, a major
problems.
reason that people would like to focus
But it's just like,
themselves
it's the
on
cultures.
smaller,
It's the gays.
inward-looking groups is to escape this, and that is
This
ultimately
room.
going. It already has, and it will lead to a further fracturing of any kind of American identity. So I think America today is more than anything a sort of like an administrative economic unit. It's not really like a country or a culture or something that people feel like they belong to. It's like just
Really?
here,
Like the American identity is super strong in a lot of people.
economy, and it's really decrepit.
I think on that, like I think we're
That's
probably gonna
incredible.
disagree on all of the social stuff, but in terms of like the broader like perspective there, I 100% agree. And I think this is one of the frustrating things that people like me or even people like Mike have, is that like the left seems to ignore like a lot of the very obvious cultural problems that exist right now, not necessarily with diversity. And then the right seems to not want to talk about anything that isn't some form of like hyper-capitalism or hyper-consumerism. And it feels like sometimes, depending on who you're
What I've been
talking to,
using,
that,
the
like, you're
hegemony rifle.
maximizing for economic outcomes, while
Let's
ignoring
finish the.
the main
Oh,
drivers behind all of this are just people that are being like increasingly fragmented like over and over and over again, and that we don't really have much a sense of community anymore. I think it would be really good to figure out ways to address that by like going back to building communities and whatnot. And that yeah, and then like Mike said,
I think we do need to do a
ironically,
whole
one
lot
of the
more
ways
of
that
community
people
building.
escape, one of the ways that white people escape has been through online gaming. And you see a lot of these people that exist in these Discord groups and these, I don't know if anybody uses TeamSpeak anymore, in these Reddit communities and 4chan, where all of these people, a lot of these guys are white guys that are like disenfranchised, not economically, but just like in a sense of community that have gone and created their own culture. These people aren't any happier either. A lot of these guys are super fucking miserable. They can't talk to girls. They don't go out and talk to anybody. They feel
100%.
super fucking lost in life. Yeah, I think that addressing these
100%.
problems is like very, very important to everybody in America, but it seems like none of the major political groups are talking about it a lot of the time.
Does this shoot through
All right, let's
walls?
throw it around to the panel. Flamingo, are you
It
there?
does. This
I am
rifle's
indeed.
OP.
Wow, you were on it. I gotta give you credit. You haven't spoken a word the whole entire stream, but you were ready.
Well,
Go
you
ahead.
were in the call, and then we went into this. So
Well, yeah, there wasn't really a chance, and our policy here. Once when people are going at it, we just let them go at it. Usually, but do you have a question for one or both of?
What do I
the
use? I'm so confused.
I'm
so confused and also very scared.
Doesn't want to answer because it's somewhat more of a personal one, specifically towards the drama that you were going through about 3 months ago. I don't know if you want to answer
What is
something
this?
like that in ours, so just feel free to answer.
talk about
Like
anything.
I
I'm
just
pretty
don't
open
want to
about-
talk about
Yeah,
it.
Oh, there goes that.
Yeah, one of the individuals that was having a bit of drama with you was Hassan specifically, and I'd watched one of his streams where he was getting relatively angry about you specifically, saying that
Yes.
you're
They're yelling at each other.
to,
Mom
I
and
guess,
dad are fighting.
defending, just personal and people in their personal lives, just kind of doing whatever as long as it's not online, not encouraging things, was going to encourage people that you quote unquote de-radicalize
There you go.
back to
Come
the
on.
right.
Come on.
Does
There you go.
Hassan talk like this in like personal, like off-camera sort of ways? Does he talk in sort of vapid kind of, superficial way like that?
I don't. Are you asking?
And
if
feel
he
free,
believes-
feel free if you think that this is going to cause like more drama than it's worth.
I don't
just
care about
not
drama with
answer
anybody.
it.
I burn every fucking bridge I have in a heartbeat. I've already done it over
There you
this past
go.
year.
That's true.
In terms of like, are you asking?
That's
me,
all
like,
Destiny
if I
does.
Go to like Hassan's house, is he like living like a frat boy lifestyle where he's like banging chicks and he's like, "Fuck this socialism shit, bro"?
No, I mean if he's like talking, does he talk in this sort of LARPy way IRL?
I wouldn't call it LARPy. That's pretty loaded. I would say that Hassan pretty consistently says like the same things no matter what environment he's in. I feel like he believes. I mean, like I'm not like his mom or
Alright,
dad.
yeah.
I don't exist in his head, but like I'm pretty sure that he believes the things that he says as much as anybody can. I hear him say the same things consistently in person or like online or whatever. It's not like he changes dramatically when we go out to dinner or if we're like in person or whatever.
And then the other question that I had specifically was, and this is kind of directed towards.
I'm so
both of you,
fast.
What do you guys think about the possibly? Because I know that about
Is this
a
Iran?
year and a half ago, there was a slew of online articles after an individual named Faraday Speaks created a video about how specifically watching your videos, he kind of moved away from. He says the alt-right, but it kind of was.
What the heck?
maybe in the
What am I- what am I using?
Centrist sort of thing. He's very inconsistent with it. What do you guys think is? Do you think that people, once they have a political ideology, can really change it in any sort of broad ways, or do you think that once people
Oh, it's the
have their political
JK-47.
ideology,
Oh, this is a bad
largely
gun.
Set in their ways on that.
I was like,
And the
what's
way
wrong
that
with
I
my
view
AK?
this is from my old edgy atheist debating days.
Oh my
There
gosh.
was a quote that we all used when we debated like theologists, and it was, "You can't reason somebody out of a position that they didn't reason themselves into." I think that works the same for like political ideologies. Like how easy it is to move somebody from one political ideology to another really depends on how they got there. You know, if somebody spent a lot of like careful thinking and arrived at some political position, it's going to be pretty hard to move them out. You know, if somebody was in a group of people that all had a particular position, and then they get a new group of friends, they're probably more likely to adopt that position, which is probably how most people come to their positions. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Like, we tend to inherit a lot of our unquestioned morals and societal preferences from the people around us. But yeah, I think that you can change your big political positions. It just depends on like the group that you're around at any particular point in time and how you form those opinions. And then I think that question was
Mike.
for Mike too. Yeah.
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 go ahead, Mike.
Oh, I think I can agree with this.
think people can, but generally they don't.
It depends.
And I think it depends on how emotionally connected, or in some cases,
Oh,
economically
was he feared?
the kinds of positions they promote. And I think
Since
you
when
have
was there
people
fear in
that
this
like
game?
I think a lot of people like to flatter themselves that.
Whoa,
that
where's
my
this fear come
positions are
from?
pure reason. I detach myself completely from interests or emotion, and but that's bullshit. Like, that's rare. And I would also just say, at some level, there's nothing wrong with being emotionally committed to something, depending on, obviously depending if certain emotions are blocking you from critical thought on things that are really dumb. That's stupid. But I would say, for the most part, people don't, and it takes a little bit more brain power than average to do it. But people have.
Now let me ask you this, Des.
oh.
Yeah, let me.
Destiny
I'll get you
Benelli.
back in for the both,
Yeah, no
The
problem.
Coomer.
Yeah, I'll get you with a follow.
I wish I had
But
ammo.
Let me ask you this, Destiny. People like Mike, other people, have been subjected to hardcore tactics from Antifa. Doxing. Sometimes, in person might be a street fight. That's not to say, they're the only aggressor in this. I think, there's a little bit of aggression on both sides, to be honest. But
Both
some on the
sides-ism?
left
I would
advocate.
dispute that, but that's all right.
Well, I mean, I'm saying so. I think.
Yes,
I
white
don't
people
know.
do no wrong.
Sometimes
I
when
have
these
never
people
known the
show
right
up-
to start these fights.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
no,
look,
no,
let's
no.
quibble
The
with
right
that.
do
I
no
don't know
wrong.
moderator rules. I can't get into judgments
That's fine.
on
That's
them.
fine.
So I'm trying to have my neutral hat on here, but
Very big
uh,
brain.
yes, but some people on the left advocate hardcore tactics against folks on the right, doxing, fucking with their job, fucking with their IRL.
Oh my
shutting down
gosh.
their channels, stuff like that. Do you support those type of tactics?
So my position is that in general, the only type of people that I don't like having big platforms are people that use them to lie, to spread misinformation. I think it does a damage to public discourse and it fucks everything up.
Nazis
That's the only
born
people that I'm
after
generally, opposed to having, like, platforms. Things like hate speech and all that,
not Nazis born after 1926 can't cook.
Now, if we talk about, like, what
All
big
they know.
platforms
I
do,
shouldn't finish this.
I think it's pretty hard to say they are obligated to host the speech of every single person. It seems like you get into really weird areas if you do that. But in general, like in terms of what I talk about, the things that I'm majorly opposed to are usually like bad faith actors. Those are what fuck with me.
All right, now I'll turn that question to Mike, and I mean there are people on the right who advocate, hardcore tactics as well. What do you think about those? And you can comment on the left wing agitation as well if you'd like.
Okay, well, I would say that basically.
Nice one. Oh, the room just keeps
people like
going.
myself and the people that advocate my kind of politics, for lack of a better term, white nationalist politics, white racialist politics, and combining.
For lack of a better term. Don't worry, you don't need a better
policy
term.
and
I think that one's real
economic
good
views.
enough.
It's a big threat. It's considered a big threat to a lot of people, and I would say that these anarcho-communists or these anarchists are really, they are just dumb foot soldiers. Like, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. No one cares about Bakunin. No one cares about Kropotkin. No one cares about, those militia groups in the Spanish Civil War. This is stupid entertainment for like upper middle class Jewish and white kids. And they go out there and they LARP and they feel like they're
This is
on
Destiny's
a mission
take.
to attack essentially what is an officially marginalized position, which is mine. So
Except for, like, the white nationalist
whether
thing.
or not hardcore tactics, like, we are the recipient of that because this is essentially like a militia, for lack of a better term, like a group of people whose job it is, like, they don't have any positive positions. Like, you'll never see, like, it doesn't matter if Antifa gets deplatformed. Who cares? They don't need a platform. They need 100 people to go harass somebody. They need to be able to go
Good.
beat somebody up or attack somebody.
That's what makes them great.
or
They don't need
call
a
their
platform.
Job. Like, they don't need.
They got the
could
street.
be, they depending. They could do 20. They use 20 people. They could use 100 people. Whereas I would want a platform of thousands or potentially tens,
Well,
or
like,
hundreds of thousands in order to push
Assaulting
my
someone,
message
that's illegal
politically.
now, right? Like you can't do that. Like if you do that, you can get
Well,
arrested.
some of it's illegal, some of it's not. Attacking people is illegal, yet they seem to get away with it. And we
Not all
see
the
this-
time. We see there are
Not-
plenty of Antifa people that get arrested. There are tons of people all over that like will start some shit and they don't get arrested for some reason. Or blah, blah, blah.
Yes,
But this
100%.
idea that,
There's a way. There's so many agitators.
Is pretty
All
insane.
right. Well, I've witnessed this firsthand too many times to think that it's not actually happening. And I've had friends of mine who haven't actually hurt a single person that are in jail for like 4 years. Okay.
Okay.
Literally,
What did
that?
they
On what
do?
charge?
on conspiracy to riot with actually no victim ever showing up in court.
Who are some of these people?
I could name them.
Let me look them up.
Yeah, you should.
Let's
I'm
look 'em
super
up.
Curious. That sounds like a huge affront. You
Okay,
should get the
Benjamin
ACL.
Daly, Tom Gillen, Michael Mazelis.
Oh, are these the
Robert
people at?
Rundo, but Robert Rundo.
Oh,
charged.
Reloading
Exact same thing
fears
in
them?
California, the judge threw it out. Yet in Charlottesville, they get found guilty of it. There's
Oh,
no
it's his
victim.
Charlottesville
I'm-
friends.
Well, I don't know if you need a victim for a
You could go
conspiracy
look
to
at this
riot.
stuff,
I don't,
I
yeah,
mean,
we'll look at it. But I'm curious. To be locked in jail for
You
4
need a
years on
victim for
charge that has no evidence.
conspiracy to
Benjamin
riot.
Daly is going to be in jail for, I believe, the next times. He did time served for a long time waiting for the trial. I think he's got like 2.5 more years. Michael Mazelis is going to get out in like 10 months. I think Tom Gillen is somewhere
Sure.
in between those two. But yes,
And that Benjamin.
no victim.
Well, wait. I don't know if you need a victim for a conspiracy to riot.
But conspiracy—that's a bullshit charge. What's the charge?
If I were to
Conspiracy
get a bunch
to
of friends together and
riot.
say, hey, like, let's plan to get some fucking napalm and shit and go
But you
riot
also
down
have
the
to do
street.
it. You have to then
No,
do
you
it.
don't. You don't have.
No,
th-
yeah,
Oh
is this
no!
conspiracy?
Oh
Riot.
no! This is like the Simpsons argument. Oh, this is like the Simpsons Wait a second. Wait. 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 Wait, here we go. Wait, here we go. Wait a second. Why do people? Wait, give me. Oh, wrong one. Not the camera I wanted. Full cam, wrong one. Properties. This is legit the Simpsons argument. Look at this.
Convicted of a crime I didn't even commit. Attempted murder. Now, honestly, what is that? Do they give a Nobel Prize for attempted chemistry? Do they?
Oh wait, whoops. Oh, here you go.
Convicted of a crime I didn't even commit. Attempted murder. Now, honestly, what is that? Do they give a Nobel Prize for attempted chemistry? Do they? Oh, really? Now, this is a personal call.
It's literally the same exact argument. There was not even a victim. What are you talking about? Attempt to riot? I've never heard of that in my life. How can you attempt to do something? There's not even a victim. There's not even a victim. What did you mean happen? Oh, did I ruin it? I think I ruined my I think I ruined my screen capture. Let me make another. I need to make another one anyways. Here we go. Back to this. And there you go. Attempted murder? I've never heard of that before. Convicted of a crime I didn't even
know.
commit.
I actually
Alright,
know
smart
how
boy.
this law works very well because of investigating and being involved in this case. You do actually have to, you could say, in theory, like, I don't want to go into this, okay?
Wait,
You-
hold,
I-
wait, no, no,
Who's
no,
the
wait, wait,
victim?
well,
The
okay, but what
street?
you're saying is wrong. if I make a full-out plan right now to go shoot up a fucking school, if I get the arms suit, if I talk to people, get whatever, and then an FBI
It's not a
agent.
riot.
Is
though.
what
That's
you're
just
saying?
you're
It
just-
has to be a reasonable plan that it could have.
Yeah,
actually taken
like
place.
you can be
but
charged
also-
with conspiracy
and
without
not just
executing said
fucking
conspiracy. Like terrorists get
Yeah.
arrested all the time for shit like this. Of course.
Yes,
Like-
okay, but you're
What?
talking about something. You're not talking about rioting. So they're saying these guys talked about going to
Oh, no.
protests that were legally permitted protests,
Uh-huh.
and in text messages to each other, they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna smash commies," and and then the
That
thing is, they
sounds like
know
a riot to
commies were
me.
Actually smashed, yet they're still in jail for years.
What
Is
the
that fair?
heck?
Well, was there a conspiracy for them? to
Hey,
cause
let's
damage?
attack people, and then they didn't attack
What do you
people
mean, was there-
because they were
no.
arrested.
No, there was not.
So, but that's what they charged.
Yes.
Okay. I'll look.
Look, if,
I'll
if,
look
you
into
ta-
it.
if
Yeah.
you're going to if you're going to a protest,
Sure.
say like you're going to a protest.
Oh,
where
it's the
alt-right
Charlottesville
people are gonna show
buddies.
up, not you or maybe whatever, and you don't like them,
Mhm.
and you're like we're gonna show up. Yeah, let's smash some alt-right people. You text that to your friend, but then you go and you don't actually smash any alt-right people. You think that you've done anything wrong?
Yeah,
You
of
should go to
course,
jail.
Yes.
100%. Just because you don't go
Yes.
through on a conspiracy doesn't mean the conspiracy itself isn't illegal.
But
of course.
do you think that people can say things like that and just
No.
like that's just like letting off steam? I mean, if you
Let's
say,
kill
like,
people, and
If
then
you would have texted
just
some
letting
friends,
off
you'd be like,
steam.
Yo, let's go
Alright, well,
fucking
you know, the
smash
point-
some
I
fucking
think
people or
arguing
whatever, and
about
then you
this
show up
is
there. Even if you don't do it, yeah,
because
that was conspiracy, of course.
In California, the judge himself threw the case out because he said it was unconstitutional and it actually prohibited legal speech.
Okay, cool.
So, and in fact, in Charlottesville, we got a different outcome. So this is possibly going to go to an appeals court, whatever. But I am saying, I
Okay.
am advocating
Okay.
on behalf of these guys because they got shafted. Totally unfair. Other people have had similar.
Is there another
charges
gun I can use?
in a altercation between someone with our political views and somebody with the political views of Antifa, every single time the police and the state and the prosecutors, all the way up to the courts,
what I
are
thought.
going to side with the other side, and they're the freaking anarchists, supposedly. But that's just because anarchism is a bullshit ideology. It doesn't matter. It's just a cover for elite interests, and they're just,
Huh?
they're just mobilized.
Oh
to
no,
attack
no,
to
no!
protect, frankly,
No!
corporations.
Like I wish.
Yep, it's the Jews again.
I hate bringing up like certain empirical things just because like I'm not 100% sure. But like on a quick Google search, like I can see on Fox News like Antifa member charged in assault of Marine reservists near We the People. So I'm pretty sure that if we were to start going through news articles, we
Oh,
can
new
find
table tech
left-leaning
device.
people that have been charged with assault.
Man, you
never
get
said
it,
they
you get
weren't
something new
charged.
every day. Well,
That's
I think that's it
literally
for.
what you just implied. You said that the cops will always side with the other people, that they won't charge people on the left.
In
these crimes.
confrontations with people like me.
Okay, so now your more specific claim is that in any
No, that's what I said from the beginning.
okay, so in any confrontation between right and left, the people on
An
the
Antifa
left.
person could potentially be arrested. Like there was a guy that punched
Antifa
a Jew
people.
in New York City. He got in a lot of trouble.
Okay, but in any other confrontation
Okay.
between the right and the left, people on the left will never get arrested. That's not going to happen.
What do you? I mean,
Well, like, what are you saying?
what you're
You're making it sound
I'm-
like Antifa's
I'm
like
so
immune from like the
screwed.
criminal justice system.
I'm
I've never
when
so
they're attacking white
screwed.
nationalists, they are immune from the criminal justice system. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, I'll look into like some of the larger like white nationalist riots, and I'm curious if there are
Oh
ever-
yeah, white nationalist riots.
or demonstrations or whatever the fuck you want to call them. These
Yes.
things where people happen to get killed and stabbed at. I'm sorry, but like, I'll look into
Alright,
some of these.
it
I'll see if
happens,
anyone on the
happens.
left has like
It
ever
just,
been.
It just happened, right?
Everything is terrible.
Like, there was no extenuating circumstances that led to that fat broad getting killed or getting
Alright.
herself killed.
Oh,
Interesting
okay.
circumstances that go
Yeah,
through a
like
lot
being
of these
involved in
rallies.
a group of people throwing sticks and rocks and bricks and little sharp things and bottles of beer at cars. That will do it.
Yeah, I'm
Now,
sure.
wait a
I'm sure it
minute. I have
happens
no
a lot on
idea what
both
you're talking
sides.
about.
Like,
Talking about
but
Heather
okay.
Heyer.
Oh no, I didn't. We didn't need to clarify, but all right.
Yep.
you already did that.
Yeah, that dumb
Alright,
idiot standing out at the
Destiny,
end of the
we
road
have
who
a
got
follow-up
freaking
question for
bolted
you
at by a car.
in a second. Destiny, what's up with Vouch? What's his deal with you?
Bosch? Well, he's like a big socialist, and I'm
Bosch.
absolutely not a socialist. What do you mean?
I don't know. It just seems kind of like. Salty
I don't think it's
about
anything
it.
crazy.
Well, because I don't want to talk about it. I'm trying to divorce myself from that lefty shit online. I don't think any of that shit is like relevant to like current day American politics. Like, I'd rather talk about like issues related to like immigration or stuff like that than like what's the perfect socialist communist state we can circle jerk with our friends over creating. It's like really fucking boring to me. I hate it.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I asked is because I saw him. He took a clip. I guess you were talking about doing this debate, and he was, saltily breaking it down about, why that was so offensive to him or
I
whatever.
mean, you can
so
get him
I
on
figured I
next.
would
He's
bring
like pretty open to debating people. I'm sure you'll be able to talk to him next if you want.
Well, we tried to get him on to debate Nick Fuentes actually, and he turned it down. He said he didn't want to.
Wait, what was his
he
He
reason?
turned down Stryker too.
Yeah, he's. I
didn't
mean,
wanna
he
do that
used
one
to.
either.
I guess I don't know. I guess the Sargon thing kind of kind of hit him hard.
Was it
and,
Sargon actually win a debate? He beat.
Well, I mean,
beat
I wasn't the
Boucher.
moderator of that debate, so I feel free to weigh in. I would say Sargon probably came out on top in that debate.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
What were they
rare.
debating?
I don't know if there was a specific topic. I think they went all over the place with the topic.
I'm gonna die.
The only reason I say that mostly is because
This is a garbage gun.
Vouch got so pissed off, like he was just enraged the whole debate.
I mean, let's be real. All of us can agree here that Sargon is a pretty infuriatingly stupid person. to
He is
follow.
really
I
dumb.
won't disagree with that, yes.
I don't- I don't-
No,
I don't hate on him for getting mad,
Oh no, actually, yeah.
but I think he should have controlled himself more in that debate. I couldn't get through it. I couldn't get through the
Yeah,
debate.
the
It
measure
was
of a
too
debate
much.
is how mad the other person gets. Sargon probably wins the
Get
majority of his
Josh in
debates
here,
because
fuck.
He's just
Get
not
off my
smart enough to know what's
topic,
going
get
on.
here. What's
well,
up?
hey, actually, I'll put out that
I'm
public
gonna
charge
die.
over there. Sargon made a video attacking me recently. He didn't respond to my Skype message.
Hello?
So maybe you can goad him on to coming on here to talk to me.
I'm
next
dead.
time.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
we're down.
Holy
for it,
crap. Oh,
and
it is
I'll
hitting.
certainly try. He's not. a big
Oh, I
fan
did
of
it.
ours, but we'll still try. All right, Flamingo, go ahead with your follow-up. We're gonna take.
Oh, it's
some,
flamenco.
questions. If you
How
wanna
much long are
call
we
in.
going? I'm
Yeah,
getting
let's
kind
say-
of
Oh, there you go.
doing
Yeah,
those 2.5 hours now.
We got 15 minutes.
All right, that's cool.
Uh,
I can go
Max
till
and-
midnight.
Yeah,
We'll
and
go
then we're
to
done. So,
Alright.
Flamingo, get it out. We'll go to some callers. from
Yeah.
later.
So I guess on that specifically.
What is that? Portable table
do you
device?
know why so many people have kind of affected your mannerisms, Destiny? I'm just curious.
I think that for this is gonna sound really narcissistic. I'm sorry, I don't know how else to explain this, but like I feel like for a long time, people on the left weren't very effective at communicating with people that disagreed with them. But people on the right were very effective rhetorically at getting other
Yes.
people on the left. And I think that I'm probably one of the first big people on the left that seems to do okay in these live format conversations. So a lot of people are probably looking to copy some of the things that I do, since it seems to be somewhat successful. Like before me on the internet, again, this is really narcissistic, but like before I was here, it didn't seem like a lot of people on the
I think
left
Destiny does a whole bunch of good
a
work.
lot of people on the right. They just make videos about how horrible they were and then go and protest and complain about them all the time.
Well, that's still the case a lot of the time, and I've talked about this as well. It's, you know, I always have to give you a lot of credit for showing up because there's a lot of people who just will not show up regardless. So,
Like Stefan Molyneux, by the way.
yeah, oh man.
To be fair,
Oh.
though, I mean, yeah.
He's like a big guy.
Yeah, it's like Stefan Molyneux, if you want to know the truth about it, because he was the
What-
one who said he was down for that debate, and then he acted like
Yeah.
a bitch. If you want to know the truth
Well,
about
because he
it.
didn't
I'll
know
just
who
go
I
off
was when
script.
he originally agreed, but then it was after that he realized who he said yes to.
Yeah.
No, he was like, wait a
"Oh,
second, we made a
I'm
big
not taking
mistake.
it seriously enough. Be like, okay, dude, you're the one who said you were down. That's the only reason I pursued it in the first place. And now all of a sudden, yeah.
I kinda think Vosh should go on the kill stream.
I'll say that on the record.
I
All right,
mean,
go ahead, Flamingo, with your follow-up.
I think
guess,
I don't think you're helping him out too
since A lot
much.
of this topic's been about people kind of checking out from society and stuff like that. Do you guys
Ooh,
think
demon
that
chest?
The rise and I guess hyper promiscuity, both among men and women, might have led to that sort of? sex
Speaking
being
of
more
hyper
about, I guess,
promiscuity,
like,
I have to
instant
text a girl that I
gratification
matched
instead of
with on
just, like,
Tinder.
building connection and strengthening it. Just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that.
You want me to go first? You want to go first, Mike?
Well, I would say that I would question if that's true, if people really are like hyper promiscuous, or if there's maybe only certain segments of
Bop.
society that are hyper promiscuous. and
Bop.
certain
Oh no.
People with money or good looks or both are the ones that are hyper promiscuous. If it's sort of an across the board thing, certainly I think that.
Hey, get him.
Other
There you go.
elements in our
Thanks for that.
culture Have created
What the
the
heck?
effect
He
of
lived.
people thinking of sex as less of a way of building a partnership with somebody, building a marriage, building a relationship, building a family.
There are lots of problems would come up that
Just a
come
way of
from
getting
hookup
off. It
culture.
doesn't matter
I'll agree
who
with
it's
this.
and you can get off as many people as you want. Like we have hookup apps, and then we have pornography.
I don't want to go the cringy incel route of saying like
Sex has been greatly
women are too spoiled with women are spoiled with choice, and it makes us feel bad. But hyper I don't know, hyper promiscuity. Just like, I don't know. It can be bad.
And the way it's
It can be bad.
Pornography and promiscuity are alienating to people and just not fundamentally good for people.
I think instead of I don't know, I think it can be controlled more than
Yeah,
try to
it's
like
actually,
have it defeated.
Common talking point, but it's actually not true that we're having more sex today than we used to. Like if
Yeah, I
you look
don't
at
think
like
so.
yeah,
True
that, like
either.
our generation is one of the most sexless generations ever.
Yeah,
in terms
a lot
of
of
like
it.
The
maybe
80-20
not
rule,
having
boys.
Sex as much, but like
yeah, our view with sex.
constantly, I guess, think about sex,
Yeah, so, like,
pornography
y-
addiction, stuff
The
like that.
problem is that like when you
Logan.
take meaning away from people, like people will try to fill that void with anything. Like humans seem to not be able to exist without getting meaning from some institution. You know, it used to be like religion, and communities. And when you strip that away from people and you don't give them anything as an alternative, then yeah, they'll look for like other ways to find meaning in life.
Yes, I'm
there
still
are some
alive.
people that engage with pornography, like all online interactions, in a very unhealthy way. You know, porn is supposed to be, you know, if you agree that porn isn't degenerate, I don't know how TradCon everyone here wants to go, but porn is supposed to be like, hey, you know, maybe I want to masturbate. or
Me,
whatever, and that's
looking
fine.
for my
It's not supposed to
beautiful
be a
trad
replacement
wife.
for real life sex or for real life relationships, you know. But a lot of people use online everything as replacements for real life anything. You know, Facebook was created to augment your real life relationships, not replace them. Porn was created, if you want to have a wank every now and then, not to be like the only way that you seek sexual gratification. A lot of people are going to engage in a lot of things in very unhealthy ways.
Let's try to open these
if they
chests.
are lacking meaning in life and they're looking for it. I don't think that the way that we treat sex now is alienating. I think that the way that we treat sex now is a result of the alienation
bad.
that we feel in general from society.
All right,
Can I push back on one thing?
Yeah,
there?
real quick so we can roll in the callers. I know
Okay,
it's
all
gonna
right.
be
Because
11
I would
minutes.
say that.
Oh, the kill stream
we don't-
callers.
I don't necessarily know that.
Commando?
That's necessarily
Question
what
mark?
was for. I would argue that essentially one reason for porn was it makes money. Another reason was it promotes a certain type of culture, and the result
Promotes. Oh yeah, my bad. I was like, what is he talking about? Then I remember he's like the Jew guy.
I think that's true, but I think it's
He's
the
like
most
the Jews
exploitative
control the world guy.
towards men and the way that men's sexuality works. It's
So of
it's
course
a
he thinks
hack
that.
of male sexuality, and it's really
Yikes.
damaging to men. And I would say that you can say like
These kids got
cocaine
blasted.
was
Did you see that?
invented So you could get work done late at night one day, or you could have fun at a party or something like that. But then like, what's the real result of doing cocaine? Well, now you're a freaking blowhead, and you're blowing like $500 a week on this stuff, and you're
Owl.
you're coked out all the time, and whatever. So I would say like I just would question that was the premise of porn, and that was the result of it. And I would freaking ban it. I would straight up ban it.
Ban.
Yeah, so
Oh,
in
he's a
terms of, like, what
banned
it's supposed to
porn
be for,
boy.
I'm using that word in a different way. I'm sorry. Like Mike is absolutely right. Porn is to make money. I wouldn't say it's to push or promote certain types of culture. I would say that porn is to make money. Everything that we do in society is to make money.
Make
But
money.
that's kind of the problem that I think I would say Mike and me probably agree on. That a lot of people agree on, but can't necessarily put their finger on it. The fact is that everything we do in society is to make money.
How much is
You know,
this?
we can argue that porn is a hack of the male sex drive or whatever. We can argue that carbs are a hack of every human being's diet. You know.
I
Ha-
totally agree.
big
everything we
facts,
do in
boy.
society
I just
is
ate
to push
macaroni
more
today.
products, sell more shit, get people, and under this understanding and idea that they need to buy a certain product, to
I
feel a
love
certain way, to
carbs.
show off a certain cultural identity, so that they can buy more products, do that, and that shit is just
What the
cancer.
heck?
It's entirely detrimental to people's well-being, and it
Is
fucks
this a
with
s-
everybody's head. And it makes
is this a
everything in
synergy?
society worse off for it. And I think we should probably move away. Like these are all products of like
Yes.
hyper-consumerist society.
What does it do?
And I think it's really good to be aware of those things, so we can kind of like push back against.
Bang. Oh
All right,
no.
let's take some callers with the quickness. Lightning
Bang.
round, Winston Fujimori.
Oh, am I
go.
shooting
Wait, real
elephant?
quick, can I wrap
The
up?
elephant gun
Alright,
shoots
alright,
elephants, and they love
Real
me.
quick, Ralph.
Wait.
If anybody
Go
comes
ahead.
on and they just start like screaming the N word, like I have to
That's-
bounce. I'm just letting you know, okay? I'm sorry, I love you, but I just have to let you know because
I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. Oh no! Wait a second. I gotta get out of here too if that happens.
Quick. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I had two questions, but I'll ask one. Destiny, I saw a video online, and I have to ask you this question. You're not gonna like it.
All right, T Pain, chill.
No,
Does your
no,
girlfriend
no,
do-
no, we're not gonna go there. I know.
Hey,
everyone-
hey! If they want to ask personal
No
questions,
personal
go
life
for it. I don't give a
questions like
fuck.
that.
I'll
Do
do
you
it.
want- do you
Whatever,
want-
whatever he wants to ask, I'll do it, dude. I'm an open fucking book.
All
man.
right,
I do
well,
my
I'll
same
bring
shit
him
all
back
day.
in then.
No, he
I'll
just
bring him back
deleted
in
him.
because I
My
did
man's
that
got
a little bit.
destroyed.
To be fair, you did bring up a few personal things.
Yeah,
too
I did.
during
Yeah,
the
go for it.
debate.
You can take whatever you
But-
want, dude. It's all good.
All right, well,
Hit
we'll
me
get
up.
him back in. We'll get him back in.
Is
I
this a
believe-
good gun?
and I don't even
This
know the
gun
full
is kind of
details of it because
ridiculous.
I've tried to stay-
I'm gonna, I'm
we
gonna
had this
go
debate
back.
coming up, It's like I don't want to even know. Like I'm not trying to fuck around with that. But people have been calling in saying that you got herpes from your girlfriend or something like that. Is
What happened?
Not to my knowledge, I
just a
don't
little
think so.
bit, like,
No.
Higher brow than that. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, that's
Well,
kind of.
I'm just saying that's what they're calling it. I don't know anything about it. I don't
Come
even
get
know
me,
where that comes
owl.
from.
I love my
Oh,
owl
we already know
boy.
we're talking
Thank
about.
you, owl.
I don't mind,
Speaking
like,
of owl
answering, like,
boy,
general questions, yeah, but we probably shouldn't get into like my personal, like what does my dick lean to the left or right? Because that's kind of awkward. For
Why?
everybody involved. We don't need to get that.
I
If
didn't
it's not like
want
relevant to like
yeah,
a broader
that's what I'm saying,
conversation.
Like I don't.
Okay, yeah, then that's
care,
fine.
and-
Yeah, then move past it if you want to. That's fine.
Yeah, that's why I just
this is good.
The Supreme Commander. Go ahead. You're on the kill stream. Supreme Commander. Supreme call. Thank you.
A great call. Nice work. Thank you, Killstream guests.
King Oscar, go.
We do. All right,
2 quick points. Acts 17:26, and he made from one man every nation
Oh.
of mankind to live on all the face of the earth, having determined allotted periods and the boundaries of their dwelling place.
What am I?
That's
What am I
my
listening to?
biblical verse.
Now ask a
Also,
question. We can't ask a question if you have a question.
I can
King
agree
Oscar.
that pornography is degenerate, but what about hentai?
Oh,
Okay.
we got the big brain
That's a
boy in
question.
chat.
I'll have to give you credit.
I mean,
Go
if you
ahead,
think
I'll-
porn is degenerate, you must think that hentai is degenerate, right? You don't think that porn is degenerate just because of what
You're
it is,
telling me my
because
tentacle
it's
girls are
right?
degenerate?
Which is people
My
like
cat and
indulging in
tentacle
some
girls are
sustainable
anything but.
relationship with some process that's used to build families or some shit, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Inflation hentai, I'm okay with. Other than that.
What about vor? Is vor tasty?
No, hentai is like he's like fucking degenerate, Phil. I'm not.
I mean,
You know what they
there's
say,
like some
dude?
non-con
Like, I
stuff
can't
in
even, like, watch it,
in
like-
hentai that's really not good.
What are they? You know what the saying is?
Have
Cut
you
a.
sat and tried to watch it?
Yes, I've watched hentai in my life, and I have not. Oh god, now let's just isolate that forever.
Fight each other.
Like, yeah, no,
Kill
no,
each other.
It's definitely not something I would indulge.
I'm gonna say it, man. Cut a weeb and a pedo bleeds every time I do.
Heck
video game
yeah,
parts. I
brother.
actually cut real weebs, but
Don't cut
Wow.
weebs, please don't do that.
Wow, it's
Whoa.
amazing how many things we're finding in common agreement.
Next level shit.
Cut a
Alright,
weeb
let's
and
try
a
it.
pedo
Much
bleeds.
time for more calls, but we'll try. Spaceman.
Oh no!
go.
Oh,
Okay. I got a
You see
quick
that expert
question. You
dodge?
mentioned if whites were a minority, they would be treated with special minority status. But in South Africa, whites are a minority and they aren't being treated as well.
the problems
How do you
in South
expect,
Africa are far
whites in
different than in
America
the
to be
U.S.
treated well, if the ones in South Africa aren't.
All right, thank you, Spaceman. Go ahead, Desmond.
So I had a conversation with a guy that covers some of the Australian, like the white farm killings or whatever.
Australian?
South Africa seems to be a place that everybody wants to run to explain what's going to happen to whites in the United States. But the relationship that white people have with their land there
Hello?
and the history with apartheid.
I was
would
like,
say
where do
is
you run
pretty
off to?
unique compared to the relationship that white people have with slavery and everything in the United States. It's pretty different. Also, I would say that in South Africa, the amount of like farm killings that happen, while it is definitely like more than what should be there, so like it's overrepresented compared to the normal population, it's also overhyped like significantly. Like there's not this white genocide going on in South Africa where all these white people are being murdered. Like it's definitely like a particular problem there that I mean South Africa's gonna have to deal with, but the strength of our institutions in the United States is far different than the strength of the institutions and the protections for like minority people and everything that exists
Yes.
in South Africa. So I would say that these two scenarios are pretty disanalogous. I don't see like all of a sudden, people are murdering white people for their land in the United States. I don't see that happening. I mean, if it does, though, I mean, obviously, or if we see that,
I'd be
happen,
against
like,
it.
We should obviously do something to stop that.
Why do you think that their institutions are weak in South Africa? Do you think that could be a reason for that?
Huh?
I don't know what's.
I mean, they used to have
Jewish
some
people
very
or black
strong
people? What are we going to blame here?
Yeah, who
the
we gonna
United
blame here?
States is a
Fine,
massive
right?
country
Like-
that's a massive economic superpower that wields a massive influence over the entire world. As an economy, we're larger. As a government, we're larger. In terms of the foundation of our country, like our founding document is the oldest,
Way
only
stronger.
currently existing country
Like,
in the
the-
world.
probably- I
Our
mean,
institutions, I would argue, are
arguably the
stronger
strongest in the
than
world.
any country, especially South Africa.
Constitution?
So aren't institutions made up of people?
Oh
Isn't any
no.
country fundamentally
He's just
people
like
that
they're just
live
not
there?
smart enough to run
Um,
themselves.
And like if those
Well, the thing
people
is
are
it-
like
it's a continual process. Like the people shape the institutions, but the institutions also shape the people. Like
Yeah,
these are things
I'll
that happen
agree
in tandem.
that
Yeah.
there is some of that, but that doesn't mean that any one person can be anything, right? Like
Here he goes.
I don't see blacks and Africans building the same kind of, and you could argue
What are you
like,
talking- the-
colonialism, slavery, whatever.
Oh no. Like these sorts of people are so quick to jump on much to learn have you have yound padawan indeed. These people are so quick to jump on, like get this freaking goo out of here, bro. On like Africa and what's going on, and it won't talk about how completely screwed they are and how they've only been in control of their own countries, that the lines weren't drawn for them, like the laws weren't given to them, weren't made by them, the institutions were just kind of like left there and for them to pick up the whole pieces with like a bunch of different ethnic groups that have been warring for like generations. and these are the sorts of people that they're supposed to pick up and pull a country together with. Like this is the situations are completely different, and it's not even their fault. But yes, they're just not smart enough. But his thing is like, you know, the institutions are the people, and you know, blacks they just they don't got it to their own. They're just, you know, poor guy, he's dumb.
But there was a time when that didn't exist, and they had not built these types of things, and then lo and behold, they actually inherited.
Also, the fastest growing economies in the world are in Africa.
Happened. So, you know, I don't actually think that America will reach where South Africa is either, or if it does, it won't be for a few hundred years or something.
Oh,
like
nice
that.
one.
But I do think that this is something that white people need to think about, that particularly given attitudes towards whiteness and in the media and
Nice one.
things that are
He got shut down.
generally speaking in academia, media, etc. I don't expect that we're going to get the kind of treatment that we've given if and when we become a minority. And therefore, it's definitely in our interest on that basis alone to not become one.
Now, what do you say to the argument, though? And I'm taking up the lefty, type argument here, but that whites have been mistreating minorities for hundreds of years, and that's of course why they don't want to become a minority, because
That's a very
they
lefty
see
argument. Nobody would seriously put forth that position, right? Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, people fight with each other. Like, I'm not going to deny that whites have oppressed others. Like, I wouldn't. That would be
Really?
stupid. Obviously, that has happened.
I mean, I do think
but
he's stupid.
again, I'm white.
What the heck happened?
Ultimately, I've got to survive,
Yeah,
and
I mean,
I
I'm
want.
just,
You know what I mean? It's sort of like, yeah.
Dude, all
again,
these like
this idea of, like,
bullet
ultimate
modifiers.
racial justice. It seems like a lot of times leftists fall into that without like getting that they're talking about like real people.
All right, go ahead,
Oh,
Jason.
come on.
I think you might want to.
Wait, so what exactly was the question? Can you restate it?
Fuck. What was the original question now?
I poisoned
The
him.
original
Yeah, there he goes.
question was because
My
of
owl's
the
shooting?
position that
My owl
whites
has
have
a
been
gun.
Oppressing minorities. Is it a valid reason to be concerned about racial minority as sort of a form of retribution?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see that happening. Like, white people still very much control most of society in the United States. Like, we still control most of the wealth, and a lot of the institutions, like
Fellow white people.
what? Well,
He said
Fellow-
fellow.
What?
Fellow white people maybe control most of the institutions.
wait, what does fellow white people mean? Does that mean Jewish people?
Yes.
Okay, fellow white people, the Jewish people. So even independent of Jewish people, a lot of
Yeet.
white people, non-fellow white people. I
That
don't know
didn't
what
really
the,
help much.
The Daily Show terminology is to refer to people like me, I guess, or other white people that aren't. I don't know. I have a hard time keeping up with all the racial identities that we have for white. It's funny because it seems like you have more like different types of white people than I would recognize. But like, yeah, I mean, like white people.
Get him.
independent
He
people
gatted him.
as
Did
well
you see that?
control, like vast amounts of society in terms of like concentration of wealth, in terms of having like preferential like land, like where the neighborhoods and houses are, in terms of having like good educational institutions. I don't see that just flipping because of a number of people, all of a sudden displacing like another number of people. Like that
Yeah.
it just doesn't seem to make sense to me. Like, that's just gonna magically change.
All right, I think that's about as much as we're gonna watch. Let's not watch the entire thing. We don't have to watch the entire thing. You can put some music on now. I would say pretty good debate. I enjoyed it. What the heck is this room? What am I looking at? Oh, he's gonna kill him. Oh, beat him. Beat him up. Easy rares. I love that my elephant gun now shoots elephants. That's funny. It shoots pink elephants too, not your average elephant. Oh no. Oh my gosh, he got me. Die or something. Oh my gosh. Somebody stop him. He's crazy. Somebody stop him. Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much. Elephant gun. Your death is now. Stop existing. Kill him. Let's just break this chest. Got a heart. I'll take that. White people. Oh my gosh. Somebody stop him. Help me, Owl. Why is this a single shot now? Oh, the lowercase r. Wow. This used to be a double shot. Now it's a single shot. Is it like more powerful or something? I don't know. The elephants do look bigger, I think. I'm gonna have to pass that room. VoIP rifle? Void rifle? Void shotgun with VoIP rifle. Listen, I was on the right track, okay? I got a whole bunch of guns. Welcome to the Gungeon, feller. Let me in. I win by doing actually literally nothing. Pop up, get put down. Oh, this is a good gun. Pick 'em up and knock 'em down. Hey. Somebody stop this guy. Somebody has to stop him. Kill him. Ooh. My bullets are better than your bullets.
So when did you know?
Hello? Thank you.
Jesus Christ, you know the fucking day?
Oh, he's just dead. Poor guy. Didn't even see it coming. Somebody stop him. He's going crazier. The freaking Cthulhu's. Hey, it's you, isn't it? I knew it. Stop this. Oh my gosh. He's so strong. Nice one. Can I just do the boss? I think so. What? Aww. Aww. Can I reload? Nice one, buffoon boy. Oh no. He's dancing. How do I stop him? Really? What is there to use? Whoa! I guess we'll be using this. Doesn't do crazy damage, but damage it does do. Nice one, Owl. Thank you. I kind of want to name him like Lucas or something. How do you feel about Lucas the owl? I like it. You cleaned your room. Ah, look at you. Jordan Peterson would be proud. Nice work, buddy. Do you feel good about yourself? Hey, you. Stop moving. It's still dirty. Well, sorta. Why is your room that dirty? Why does it suck that much? Oh, look, I'm rich. I have no keys. I have a key. Bro, I don't think your room should be that dirty. Oh, I have to go all the way around. That's the big suck. Let's use the Vorpal gun. I was wondering, like, this is either a lot of rooms here on like the second floor or just one big hallway. I got a lot of money to work with, so I should be okay. Let's get a bunch of blanks. Who's gonna stop us, right? Destroy the child. Corrupt them all. I don't like them putting chemicals in the water to turn the friggin' frogs gay. I don't know why you care so hard about the frogs being gay. It really doesn't matter that much. Thanks for the garbage gun. I'll give you a blunderbuss. Dweeb. Fight the rat? I can't fight the rat. You freaking Neanderthal, okay? Yeah, really? Are you? Mod the Gungeon? Yeah. Oh, you've never heard of Mod the Gungeon? Here. I'm surprised you're just now noticing. Oh crap, I'd have to go to whatever. Look at what is it? Yeah, see? I have a I don't know, like a give chest. Now, what is it? I forgot the command. Give blue chest. Gotta do that. Spawn chest. Can look at blue spawn blue chest. Forgot all the commands. Spawn blue chest. No. Did I just break the game? I did the give all passives, and I'm not sure if it worked. I don't think it did. No, it didn't work. No, I'm not. I don't remember exactly. Let me see if I can look it up. I can. I just don't remember the exact command. No, doesn't help. Give me 1 second. Let's try this. There it is. That's how you do it. Did it? Wow, look. I've done it. Is that it? Yeah, see? It just works like that. I don't know. Oh, there. There it is. See, isn't this fun? Aren't we having fun? Oh no! Oh gosh, they hit me anyways. Aren't we having fun? Give yourself the bandana twice. Let's see. Did I pronounce that? Oh, how's it called? Heroes bandana? They probably make it for Binding of Isaac. It's just not it's just on PC. Here, let me see. Throw the guns. Ancient Heroes bandana. Let's see if this will work.
I'm gonna play for you to...
What? It's so hard to spell with the microphone in the way. What? I'm really tired. This might work. Yep, there you go. Oh, I misspelled it again. What? Green ammo. Okay. There you go. Wow, look. See, aren't we having fun? A glitched chest? What's a glitched chest? Sure, I'll try it in a sec. What? All right. Wow, I'm in the forge. What the heck is going? What am I looking at? Is that how you do it? One second. What is this? Is this boss rush or something? What am I looking? What am I doing? See what happens? Okay. Yari launcher for the memes is not as good as I thought it would be. Okay. Actually, no. Actually, no. Because I've got to get out of here after this for a little bit. What do you mean get him? What are you talking about? What's going on? Is this like the rat or something? Is this like the rat rush? No, we're in bullet hell. So this is like the lich, right? Ow. Stop it. Oh, this is the rat? Nah, I'm not doing the rat yet. I don't want to kill the rat yet. I want to kill the rat on my own. I especially don't want to do cheats to get the rat. Look at him, he's running. He's running, he's cheating. Are we done? Are we done with this room? Thank you. Oh, you want to do, you want to get Sir Junkin? I was thinking about doing a couple. Oh no. Doing a couple modded runs, probably like tomorrow or something. Where oh no. Where I do like I get a bunch of bullet modifiers, but then I can only use the what the heck? I get a bunch of like bullet modifiers, but bullet modifying passives, but then I can only use like the sidearm or your starter pistol, something like that. Chill. You see that guy chasing me down? He's chasing me down. What's Junkin's name even in the thing? Like his actual name. I've almost never seen a cleansing shrine. A cleansing shrine is super rare to me. Super rare. Oh, here he is. Sir Junkan.
They say humans are social animals that can't live alone. But you can live pretty well by yourself. I tell you, instead of feeling alone in a group,
Did I get him?
real solitude all by yourself.
Oh, there he is. Ah! There's two of them and they're so angry.
So it doesn't matter if I'm there or not.
You were just afraid to abandon.
Look at them. Why are they so mad?
You distanced yourself from the whole thing.
Bro, look at him. They're chasing me down. Oh. Ow. Why did they hurt me? Why did they hurt me? What's this? Ow! Ow! They both hurt me. What are you talking about? Wait, what's the thing that We can fix this. We can fix this. There's something here. I forget what it is, but it makes you... What's the item that makes you... what's the item that makes you immune to contact damage? I forget. How do I get rid of them? I want them to die. I don't remember what it is, but it makes you immune to contact damage. Thrawn? You mean Thorn armor? You mean Thorn armor or Thrawn armor? Are you sure? Armor of Thorns. Is that true? Let's try it. I mean, I have it. Yeah, it is. Look at these boys. They can't do anything to me. Whoa, look at him. He's so strong. Look at him. He's so strong. Oh, look at him. Pew, 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 pew. That's my boy right there. That's my best friend. That's my best friend. That's my best friend. Leave me alone, you dweeb. Oh my gosh. You're just bumping me around. Junkin. I've never seen golden junk before. I've never picked that item up. As far as I remember. Yeah, he's just chilling. He's mowing him down. Just for good luck's sake, we shoot him in every direction. I kind of want some ice cream. It takes priority over max junk. I do like max junk though. I do miss Max Junken. How many Junkins can I have? Is it just one? Will the game stop me if I pick up multiple Junkens? Give me 3 of them. Look at my best friends. Look at, they're my best friends. Oh, they're stuck. They're a little stuck. They're a little confused. They get a little confused sometime, okay? Buddy? You you all right? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, this is their end. Bro, go the other direction. You can do it. All right. Hello? Hey, we did it. What is this? This is the boss. Oh, this is the Lich. Go get him, Junkins. I've never fought the Lich before. Look at him go! You get him, Tiger? Oh my gosh. They're beating him up. What the heck am I looking at? They stupid. They're a little stupid. They're like 3 phases to this boss, right? There's this one. Yeah, super cool. You're super sick. Go get him, Junkin. I'm gonna stand in the corner here. I'm gonna cheer you on. Oh no. Oh no. That was the first time I've ever dodged that before, and I think I did pretty well. Oh gosh. They stupid. It's beautiful. It's everything I've ever wanted. Oh no, it's the 3rd phase. We're not doing this. We're not doing it because I'm not beating the Lich for the first time with cheats. I'm not beating the Lich for the first time with cheats. I just can't. That wouldn't be right. That wouldn't be right. And you know it. So I'm gonna have to say that's a no from me, dog. But that was fun. See, Mod the Gungeon is kind of sick. Do you agree? Do you agree that Mod the Gungeon is kind of cool? Because I like it. I like it a lot. I just have to... No. It's only cool because you don't get to have it. Because you don't have a computer. All right. But that's going to be it for me. Thanks, Splat, for being around. I hope you had fun. It was a good day. I'll be live again tomorrow. We're probably going to play, I don't know, some Sekiro, some Dark Souls. Who knows? We'll find out. But until then, hope you have a good night. Hope you have a good day. And I'll see you later, bud. All right.